All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. And as you see here on this episode, I am not flying solo. I'm not Han Solo here. I got my Luke Skywalker or my Lando Calrissian with me tonight here. So flying a Millennium Falcon here on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. And yeah, I knew I needed some company because the movie that we're talking about here tonight is just too much of a powerhouse. It's too fun a movie to talk about by myself right there. I mean, I need to share the joy, share the load, which sounds really dirty right after I said it there. So I'm just going to forget I said it right here. But yeah, but what we're going to do here is, so right after I play the old intro right here, we're going to get into some John Wick right here with reckless abandon. So let's do this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, folks. All right. Hey, again, welcome into Movies Merica. Spoiler warning right here with my good buddy LindyRigg. And Lindy, how the hell are you there, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. You know, rushing in rushing in to meet these podcasts lately this week. It's been weird. Usually I don't have to rush in from work, but it's all good. I love doing it though.
Oh, yeah, right. You're a popular guy, you know, like everyone wants to piece of Lindy over here.
This week, apparently, yeah.
Well, I see you're Willie Nelson. You're on the road again, so.
Well, I kind of live on the road, so the week is kind of hard to do these. Otherwise, I'd stream more during the week, but
yeah,
it's hotels and whatnot. I get the wonderful internet that comes with hotels.
Right,
So
yeah.
hopefully, it stays.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. Well, I was having some problems with my Mac Mini earlier because it just like restarted on its own, and so I'm kind of like eyeballing my Mac Mini, like doing this the whole time. Like, all right, don't you restart on me, you little bastard, So yeah,
Yep.
Because it'll happen. I mean, not that the show ever has a best moment, but if it does have a best moment, that's when you know that the Mac Mini is going to take a total dump. And everything's going to be gone. I mean, like the whole show is going to shut down and it's going to be the end of civilization as we know it. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, so.
Can't happen. Can't have that.
Gotta love it right here. But, well, hey, let's do it. Let's get right into some John Wick right here because I'm sure people aren't tuning in to hear about, my computer troubles as fascinating and as intriguing as that is. But, I mean, right off the bat, I mean, John Wick, I love this movie. I wasn't expecting to before I saw it for the first time in the theater, okay? And I thought, hey, I'll just go check it out. I mean, Keanu Reeves, typically his action movies aren't bad. Point Break, the whole Matrix trilogy. And I call it a trilogy because I don't count that fourth piece of crap that came out with. But Point Break and the Matrix, even like the movie Street Kings, and that's kind of an action thriller there with Keanu. So I was like, hey, let's check out this new John Wick movie. Not too sure on the title there, but all right. And went and saw it, and it didn't take long. I mean, well, he does like it takes about 29 minutes into the movie before we see any serious action because he doesn't pick up his first gun until like 29 minutes in the movie when they attack his house. And then in that scene where they attack his house, where Vigo Tarasov or whatever his name is sends his goons there, and then that action in that scene, it tells you like, oh boy, we in for a treat here, ladies and gentlemen. And so then the rest of the movie showed me that this is an action movie that's unlike any other, because you saw, so you could tell that the fighting was choreographed and filmed by people who knew what they were doing, because the movie's directed by a couple of stuntmen, Chad Stahelski and David Leitch. And David Leitch, due to some Directors Guild of America thing, doesn't get credit as one of the directors, but he's a good director. He directed like Deadpool 2 and Bullet Train with Brad Pitt, Atomic Blonde. So he's a renowned director of his own. But Chad Stahelski is the guy that gets credit for directing this. And yeah, he was Keanu Reeves' stunt double for all the Matrix movies. And like David Leitch, I think, was involved with the Matrix movies as well. So that's the connection there. And so because we have a couple of directors that were stuntmen, and then they have a bunch of buddies that, just like them, they know BJJ, they know Krav Maga, they know all these different martial arts. And so they incorporate that into the movie. And I'm sure like they were like a lot of us normies, where we watch movies like Taken or the Bourne movies, and we're like, why do they have like 75 different cuts in the middle of a fight scene right there? It's like, it's just all over the place. It's just zigging and zagging and all that place, all that stuff. And they're probably like, can we just have a fight scene where you can hold the camera in one place for, at least two freaking seconds? And in that first action scene in the first John Wick movie, you could tell that that's what they were trying to do, is that they wanted people to be able to make out the action and see what was happening and appreciate the fight moves and that kind of thing. And so then that continued throughout the rest of the first John Wick movie, and has continued on all through, all 4 John Wick movies there. But yeah, what do you think there, my good man?
I was trying to think, like, I don't think I've seen the 4th one. I think I've watched the 3rd one like 3 times, thinking it was number 4.
Yeah. You gotta check out 4. I can't recommend it enough.
Is 3 called Parabellum? Do I got that right?
What's that?
Is 3 called Parabellum?
Yeah, 3 is called Parabellum. Yeah, Parabellum is an overly fancy word for the word war, basically. So, right. And then chapter, and then I think it's John Wick chapter. I think it's just called chapter 4 or something. So
okay,
like that. But yeah, chapter 4 is definitely worth checking out. Right there, because you get your money's worth. That movie is like almost 2.5 hours, if not 2.5 hours, of just slam bang, mind blowing, beautifully choreographed action there. So I would definitely check that out.
Don't they have like a very good single shot fight scene in that one too? Was that number 4?
I'm trying to think of which one that would be. I mean, like, I know like John Wick 2 has that good single shot scene where they're in the museum towards the end, and so he's going through there. He's got that standoff with Santino D'Antonio, the main baddie in that movie, and they're in like some art museum at the end, and then they have the big shootout. I think that starts out as a one shot there, but typically like your one shots in your movies are not truly one shots. They make like different cuts strategically here and there and that kind of thing. So usually when they go through a doorway or something like that, it's like, oh, that's where they put their little cut there. So,
like, I mean, they did a great job. Like you said, they're all stuntmen, so they know what people want to see and how to do it the good way.
So. Yeah, right, exactly. Because I'm sure that they wanted to make this movie stand out in some way from other action movies, and also other action movies with a bigger budget, like the Mission Impossible movies, because there's Tom Cruise tied to it, they're always going to have a bigger budget than the John Wick movies. There. Plus, they know that they could have a bigger budget for those movies because they're not R-rated, so you're going to get more butts in seats more often for the Mission Impossible movies, and you've got a better chance of recouping your money back because of PG-13 rating. So Paramount and Skydance, they're always going to be more than happy to, like, okay, John Wick, you get $10 for your movie, and Mission Impossible, you get $20 for your movie, because we know you're going to be able to recoup it. Plus, you have Tom Cruise, and I mean, I hate to say it, Keanu, but Tom Cruise is a bigger star than you, Keanu. I mean, maybe not by much, but he's still a Hollywood legend. And Keanu,
he's got the name. He's got the name higher. He's got the bigger name. Is about it. I don't think he's a better actor in any way, shape, or form.
Mm. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. Yeah, it's. I mean, Tom Cruise has just been doing it for so long. I mean, talk about the early '80s, and he's still going strong. Where he's never really had a lull. I mean, the closest thing he had to a lull is back like in 2005, like in his days where he's jumping on Oprah's couch and he's sermonizing to Matt Lauer about vaccines and all that stuff. And that was kind of his low point there, where there was literal like a lot of widespread Tom Cruise hate. So I'd say from like 2005 to let's say like what was next? Probably until 2011 when he did Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. So he had a good 6-year lull there. Where Keanu Reeves has had like has had more lulls in his career and for longer there because after the third Matrix, man, like John Wick. Well, I guess John Wick, but yeah, Keanu Reeves, like he did have his career was just in cryo sleep there for a while, and then he got John Wick, and then just took the defibrillator pads and like just just like got his career heart beating again. So
right,
yeah, it's but John Wick, yeah, it's the best thing that happened to his career right there. And I mean, I just like I don't know how you thought of like the bad guy in John Wick, if you can recall the main bad guy, the Russian mobster.
Yeah, see, the main thing I remember from John Wick, because like I told you earlier, it's been years, but it was back when I still liked John Leguizamo.
Oh, sure, right, yep.
And he turned out to be
revealed himself to be the total tool that he does now, yeah.
Yeah, yep. So now he kind of just bugs me when I see him on screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if I remember right, it had a lot of like basically any other movie that has the Russian, bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it's like it's kind of like that movie Nobody with Bob Odenkirk. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
So good.
But that one was another example of an action movie with a Russian bad guy, and that movie, if it kind of gives you that Matrix feeling to it, it's because like it's produced by the same guy, or not the Matrix feeling, the John Wick feeling. It's produced, and a lot of people that were involved in John Wick movies or are involved in John Wick movies were involved with Nobody there. And then on top of that, like in the first John Wick, the Russian mobster's like his head heavy, I guess, or his head bad guy is his protector, not Mayhem, the guy that's always by his side, always telling him to speak English. Not that guy. He's the kind of soft, the pillow soft guy, not him. But when you get to the nightclub scene, there's a guy, and he's clearly like he's directing all the henchmen in there. Like, hey, how you doing on level 2? Okay, how's everything on level 1?
Yeah.
That guy. Well, that guy, he was also in Nobody, and his name is Daniel Bernhardt, and he was one of the guys on the bus. Remember that fight scene on the bus in Nobody? Where like Bob Odenkirk, apparently he's like, all right, hey, I need to get out of this pussy mode that I've been in for all these years as like this, trying to be the good husband and good father. I've been kind of pussyfied. I overcorrected and I turned into a total pussy. So now I need to toughen up again. And what better way to get back into fighting shape than to take on a bunch of thugs on a bus and fight? And one of the guys that were on the bus that he was fighting with, that was Daniel Bernhardt. He played the same, like the head security dude for the Russian mobster guy in the first John Wick movie. So and he was also in the Matrix too. He played one of the agents there.
Wow. So Keanu's like has the same people involved in a lot of his movies then, huh?
Yeah, he's got quite a work. It's kind of like you got all these directors, actors, producers, they have like these same circles of people that they do movies with. I mean, like, it seems like every Martin Scorsese movie has Leo DiCaprio in it, right? You've got all the same people around there, or which is Vince Gilligan from Breaking Bad. I think he uses a lot of the same people and that kind of thing. So yeah, they have their circle of trusted collaborators, and then that's the same thing with Keanu Reeves. He's like Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, the directors of John Wick. They were my boys during the Matrix days. They're the one who did like the a lot of the martial arts. I mean, look, Keanu Reeves, he was no slouch when it came to the Matrix, because he did learn. I think he learned like karate and what was the other one? I think karate and kung fu were the two martial arts disciplines that he learned for the Matrix, and for John Wick, he added to those.
Just download it into his brain.
Jitsu, Krav Maga, some of those.
That's a really good thing about Keanu, that I think if everybody doesn't love him for it, all the training he does, like he immerses himself into it. Like I think on Sunday, I think you played him training with the guns.
Oh, which one?
When Keanu was training with the guns.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
On Sunday.
Yeah, Terran Tactical.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got that Terran Tactical range there. I think it's like a little bit north of LA there, but yeah, I like watching those videos on YouTube. Yeah, where he's on there and he's just showing his firearms prowess. And then when he did John Wick 3 and Halle Berry was in that one with them, then of course they got Halle Berry out to the Terran Tactical range with Keanu. And I mean, I won't lie, there's nothing hotter than a fine, beautiful, luminescent woman with a firearm in her hands. And man, when that video with Halle Berry at Terran Tactical with those guns right there, oh yeah, it keeps your attention. I'll just put it that way.
Imagine if it was Swordfish Halle Berry out there shooting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I was picturing her. It was like a picture of like her and all her sexy roles, while she's out there. She's squeezing off rounds there, but I mean, she held her own. She's out there. She's putting in the work. I mean, she's not, I don't want to touch this little gun. Get it away from me. Oh, she's not that. She's like, what? Hey, I'm gonna keep up with the fellas here. All right, I'm not gonna be some shrinking violet. Yeah, give me that Glock, motherfucker. You're like, yeah, there you go. Give me that shotgun. Hell, I'll learn how to load those shells just like Keanu does. So yeah, I'm capable.
Yeah, and she was.
She definitely was right there. So that's the thing. It's like this is a completely like aside on Halle Berry, but I'm like sitting here and I'm like, she's been with all these dudes that have cheated on her, and I'm like, what kind of dude do you have to be to cheat on Halle Berry? I mean, I guess I'm taking personality out of that. Maybe she's a complete hag and her personality is psychotic and whatnot. So maybe that's it. But if that's not the case, then yeah, why the hell would you cheat on Halle Berry? And I guess like it might be one of those things where the guys that were with her, you know how it works with women. Like, a woman might not find you attractive, but the minute she sees you with another beautiful woman, suddenly to all the women, you become more attractive. So yeah, I guess if some dude's walking into some club, he's got Halle Berry on his arm, that instantly his attraction level goes from 2 to a 9. So
yeah, need to bring Halle Berry around with me. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like yeah. So unless she's got some toxic personality, yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got somebody better than Halle Berry, right? So
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. You don't need to be hearing about no Halle Berry. Come on, yeah, there you go. But I mean, and that's one of the things in the first John Wick is we do see the beginnings of the world building of what I call there's the wizarding world. I call the world that they start world building in John Wick, I call it the Wickerding world. And we really get immersed into that, really with John Wick Chapter 2. But with this one, we see a little bit of it because we see that John Wick is part of this world of assassins where assassins, turns out they have their own hotel chain. All right. It's like,
right.
They got their own Marriott hotel chain or, Residence Inn or, whatever, Hyatt's. I mean, they got, hey, it's hotel assassin.
Was Common in that one too?
Yeah, Common was in Chapter 2. Yep.
Was he in number 1?
He was not. No, he was just in the second one. So
I don't know how he's got an acting career. He sucks. He's a terrible actor, in my opinion.
Well, he's a terrible rapper too. I mean, he's aptly named Common.
Yeah. We name him the Basic.
Oh yeah, exactly. He basically plays the same character. He's always like this too cool for the room, overly stoic character. And he doesn't really do anything. I remember there was that show on AMC called Hell on Wheels, and it was about like them, they're building the railroad tracks out to California, and he was in that show. He added absolutely nothing to that show. They were just checking a checkbox by having him in the show, there. And then he was also he was in another Keanu Reeves movie called Street Kings. Didn't do anything in that movie. He's been in a number of different things, but I think he's just a quota, meter, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. Hey, we needed some guy, some black guy, in our movie. Well, Samuel L. Jackson's spoken for. Denzel's too old for the part. Hey, let's get Common. So,
Right.
yeah, he didn't really add anything to this. He was just like, because I mean, first off, in chapter 2, he did a piss poor job at basically what his one task was to keep that woman safe, to keep her from being killed. And Keanu Reeves was just able to just sneak through the catacombs, and sneak in and like take her out. And he's out there on the dance floor or something. I mean, I think he wanted to go with her. She was like, "No, stay here." I think if I was in his job, I would have been like, "All right, she doesn't want me, going with her, but I'm gonna still kind of go with her. I'm gonna hang back and that kind of thing, make sure she doesn't see me." But I'm sure shit. I'm not gonna be 3 football fields away from the one person I'm paid to protect. Okay, so yeah, he shit the bed on his one job in that movie. So I mean, again, a very common performance with his job. So
Yeah. He's a turd. Anyway, so you didn't want to do Snow White?
What's that?
You didn't want to do Snow White?
I did not want to do Snow White. Nope. I am not doing that. I mean, it's I knew it was going to suck, and there's plenty of YouTubers out there, that are going to, review Snow White and crap all over it, and that I would have just ended up being like, just one other guy, just watching it, torturing myself with it, and I didn't want to give, Rachel Zegler or Disney any more money, especially not for Snow freaking White. So yeah.
I saw that it is now officially the worst animated movie to live action adaptation. Worst adaptation ever made. It's been rated. It's got a 1.8 right now on IMDb.
Oh yeah, yep, exactly, yeah. And well, it's even got one of the producer's sons out there, talking rightful crap about Rachel Zegler there, because this guy is out there. He's like, okay, well, there a lot of people put their heart and soul into this movie. We've got a lot of blue collar workers that have nothing to do with Rachel Zegler's political, shitty political takes, and so they wanted this movie to be successful so that maybe that could propel them into the next job. You've got VFX people, you've got the composer, you got all these people that have that don't want to get anywhere near Rachel Zegler's shitty political takes there. And again, you can have whatever political takes you want, Rachel Zegler, but you don't sabotage this premiere movie that Disney sunk a lot of money into there, and ruined the movie for everybody that's involved with it right there. And so that's what this producer's son was basically what he was getting at. That was like the gist of his rant there. And then I think one of the person that, because I think it was like an Instagram interview is where he said this, and the interviewer was like, well, what about free speech? And of course, and of course, just like millions of people, they have no idea how free speech works. They think, oh, well, free speech means in your place of employment, you get to say whatever you want, and whoever you work for doesn't get to lay down any ground rules or regulations or spell out, I don't want you talking about this, I don't want you talking about that, I don't want you talking about that. Like, they don't get First Amendment rights. Free speech just means like the government can't arrest you. Okay, they can't come to your house and go, like they do in the UK or Belgium or Ireland now. Like they can't do that in America. That means like, yeah, you can't hear FBI open up. We heard you talk shit about Disney. We're taking it to jail. Like, they can't do that. Okay, that's
Bob Iger might have the power to do that to you, but
what's that?
Bob Iger might have that power.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's got connections. He's got connections right there. He's been in the game for a while, here and whatnot. So he's made powerful friends, and I think he's butt buddies with Barack Obama and the Clintons and that kind of thing. So yeah, he could probably have Hillary, suicide you. So yeah,
probably.
yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, I mean, Zegler is like, but that's kind of on them. I put that on them. I don't really shed any tears for them because got to do your due diligence when you're going out there searching for who's going to be the lead in your big movie that you're going to be spending at least $300 million on. Make sure that you don't have some narcissistic, you just like narcissistic, person with terrible political takes that are all full of themselves, that have had nothing but sunshine blown up their ass ever since they blossom into womanhood. Because I mean, I'll admit, I mean, I'm not going to come out here and act like Rachel Zegler isn't attractive. Yeah, she is. So she's had nothing but dudes like kiss her ass for the last I'm a good 8 years. I'm going to just throw a number out there. And so yeah, when you have that going on, people that are kind of screwed up in their heart in the first place are gonna get a big head. They're gonna get narcissistic. They're gonna get full of themselves, and then basically they turn into Rachel Zegler. It's like you gotta do your due diligence and make sure that your lead isn't a Rachel Zegler. Otherwise, hey, you know what? You made that bed. Now you gotta lie in it.
Well, what were they thinking? She's only been in 6 movies ever?
Something like that.
Never
Yeah, I
the
can think of West Side Story and the second Shazam movie. She was in the Hunger Games spinoff.
And Y2K and Spellbound. Like they just brought in a nobody basically to be the star of should have been one of their biggest hits.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yep, exactly. And I think they just were counting on Snow White to be another woke after school special. I mean, that's what they do. Is like it doesn't. So when they do a woke after school special here, as I call them, it doesn't do them any good to make some movie like an original movie that has characters that nobody knows, no one's familiar with, and try to preach the gospel of woke with that. No, what they know they have to do is they have to take beloved IP, beloved characters, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Star Trek, Snow White, all these beloved characters and IP, and that's what you use for your woke after school special. And so they know Snow White is a beloved Disney character. I think that's like what the first big Disney animated feature that really got like launched Disney into what it is today, back when 1937. And so they know that Snow White has been beloved for decades now, and they're like, okay, what a great opportunity. We use Snow White to preach the word of woke here. And then what's happened the last few years happened, and woke fell out of favor. People have started growing extra brain cells, and so woke has gone the way of the velociraptors, and so now that's why a lot of people, they watch Snow White. I haven't seen Snow White. I'm not going to bother to see it, but that's one thing I've heard about Snow White is people they comment about it. They say, well, it's like it's part Marxist messaging fairy tale, but it's also part traditional, Aesop's fables story. It's kind of a hodgepodge of different things and that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense to have all that stuff in it, except because it was a European one, I believe. Isn't that where the Grimm brothers are from?
The Grimm brothers?
Yeah, because I believe they wrote the original Snow White.
Yes. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they did. So right there, but yeah, and it's and I mean, it was like it talks about how she had skin white as snow, and it has definitely a distinct description of Snow White.
Not a Colombian chick.
Yeah, but they wanted to get a Colombian chick because they knew, and this is how they work. This is one of the characteristics of the elite commies and the street commies, right? They love to stick it to the people that they know don't share their views. They're like belligerent children. Oh, You don't want me throwing spaghetti at the wall, mommy and daddy? Well, guess what? Boop, here you go. I mean, like, I'm going to do it just to spite you because I know you hate it. Nah, 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 nah. That's kind of like their very immature mentality. It's like we live to really like just make people clutch their pearls. We love it. We love making the people that we consider conservative and stodgy and overly traditional. We like it when we stick it right in their face. That's their whole mentality. It's very childish.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, there you go. Well said. There you go.
Pretty much. Like, I can't say anything better about their bullshit. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to like steer the semi truck back to John Wick right here. But I mean, like but I do like we didn't quite get immersed so much into the wickening world in the first John Wick. I mean, as you see, like you said, you've seen John Wick 2 and John Wick 3. That's when you really get into it, into the whole wickening world. But in the first John Wick, we got to see the Continental. We saw the hired doctors there because John Wick is getting fucked up, right? And so he's got to send the doctor up to his room, and he's there and he's getting worked on. And the doctor that came up to his room to work on him, actually, he's the same Asian guy that was the key master in Matrix Revolutions. There, remember that part of the Matrix Revolutions?
Yeah,
right there. Yeah, but he was like so it was the same guy. He did play the keymaster, and now he's aged quite a bit. And now he was the doctor in John Wick. I think he was in the third John Wick movies as well, because he was giving John Wick like medical attention, and the doctor was like, "Hey, they're gonna know that I helped you out. They're gonna know I gave you pain meds and helped you out. So you got to shoot me to make it look like you forced me to work on you or something like that. It's the same guy. I'm pretty sure the same Asian guy there. And then of course then he offers the Asian guy, the doctor, offers him pain meds, and then that's when John Wick holds up the glass of Blanton's that he's drinking there. He's like, nah, I pretty much got that covered right here as far as pain relief. So a little single malt there, or single barrel bourbon, I should say. So yeah. But and then we saw, I think, what other part of the wickening world do we see? I guess we saw like I think we saw the operators, like those phone operators.
I think
I think we saw like one appearance of them in the first John Wick movie. I think because like when the Russian Russian mafia head Vigo, I think he called in like he wanted to start up a contract or put out a hit on John Wick. There, I think they showed the operators doing that.
Yeah, because they did lay a lot of important groundwork in the number one. Because I mean, if they planned, because they planned on this being at least a trilogy when they started it. Just by the way they set it up, because they laid that very important groundwork at the beginning, like showing he was just a happy guy.
Yeah.
Living his life. He retired and one thing that bothers me with this is they all know his name John Wick, but didn't he go by was it Yaga or Baby Yaga or something?
Baba Yaga. Yeah, Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga. Nickname.
Yeah. I think it means something death anyway. Yeah, Boogeyman. There you go. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's Russian for, it's supposed to be. Well, I thought it was Russian for boogeyman, but then I saw some video with one of those guys, one of those, well, actually, those kind of guys, that get on there, and it turns out I don't think it's Baba Yaga's not Russian for boogeyman. It's like Russian for angel or some crap like that. But it sounds good. I'll go with it. Yeah.
And then that crazy part where I think it was Dennis Hopper put a bomb on the bus, and they had to keep it at 55.
Oh, speed.
Was that John Wick?
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, like as far as like past movies with Keanu Reeves playing into like John Wick or The Matrix or anything like that, I don't know if I've ever told you my my theory, my half-ass theory, as far as like how I think John Wick and Matrix might tie together. But I always thought it was conceivable that in the pop culture universe, of course, that John Wick and the world he lives in is just another iteration of the Matrix. So like, I don't know if you remember Neo at the end of Matrix Revolutions, he was given the choice of resetting the Matrix so that if he did that, it would start the 7th iteration of the Matrix, where if it restarts restarts a new iteration of the Matrix, each iteration of the Matrix, as the machines, and has the architect described, it's like the machines take over, the machines allow a certain number of humans to go free, to live in Zion. A rebellion rises up, and they search for Neo. Neo is found, and then he defeats the machines, and that resets the Matrix, and it all starts over again. But however, at the end of that movie, at the end of the third Matrix, the final Matrix movie, okay, Matrix Revolutions, if you remember, Neo doesn't choose to defeat the machines and restart everything. He chooses like a ceasefire of sorts there, and that's when you saw like the Oracle. She's sitting on that park bench, and the little girl comes up, and the architect walks up, and they're all making nicey nice with each other. It's kind of the ceasefire. And then I was thinking, my theory is that because the Matrix didn't get reset, and there's this whole different world that got created instead, that whole different world, that's the world of John Wick, and maybe all the nameless assassins that can't quite kill John Wick, they're like the agents in Matrix, and then Wick's wife dying and the puppy that she got him being killed. That's the classic inciting incident in the story, in this machine manufactured world and plot. So basically, all the John Wick movies is like a John Wick Matrix, if you will. So, but that's just my pop culture theory right there. I think it's fascinating. It might be a possibility. Who knows? So,
I mean, you could definitely write fan fiction about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be like, yeah, because you could see like maybe the wife was Trinity.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Yep.
Because in the Matrix movie that doesn't exist anymore, where Trinity, I believe she does die. Sorry, spoiler.
Yeah, right.
You haven't seen that one.
Well, she dies in the third one. Yeah, she dies in the third one, and then because she was in the ship, and then she gets impaled in the third one, and then so yeah, that could be it. There could be like kind of a character equivalent,
making him relive his life in a different way type thing.
Yeah. I think it's fun. It's fun to think about. Just in a pop culture standpoint, it's kind of like how people theorize that John Mason, Sean Connery's character from The Rock, he's really James Bond. It's like James Bond. Sean Connery, James Bond. Retired like in the early 70s. He got caught by the British, and he was, and so they gave him over to the Americans, who threw him in Alcatraz, and then of course they're discounting the movie Never Say Never Again that came out in 1983, which was another Sean Connery James Bond movie, which I have an unpopular take. I don't mind Never Say Never Again, but it's not the best Sean Connery James Bond movie. Not even close, but I don't mind it. But
I have a very unpopular take. I think all James Bond movies are boring as hell.
That's a very unpopular take there. Yes,
they take way too long to get to the little bit of action that they do have, and then there's too much of a lull between the action scenes for me.
Yeah. So you need so. Are you a big Michael Bay fan? Like, you like Michael Bay movies?
I love the explosions. Yes.
You like that, right? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, what's the opposite of like a slower paced action movie? Well, Michael Bay, he's got plenty of action, and you don't have to wait very long between between each action scene. It's just like he's like bam, 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 bam. It's just bam after bam.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of substance to Michael Bay movies.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Action.
Yeah, I mean, one market exception to that would be 13 Hours. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Oh, that was Michael Bay?
That was Michael Bay, yeah. Michael Bay made that one right there, so.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's my favorite
I like
Michael Bay movie of all time right there is 13 Hours. I like that there because, yeah, it had like the highly kinetic, you know, at least big budget looking action, you know, that you see in a lot of his movies there, but it also was based on a true story, and there were actual stakes that you cared about in that movie because you knew it was a true story. You were concerned about these CIA assets, and it was actually extra intriguing because we all know the story of Benghazi and our government, abandoning them there pretty much right there. And hey, we got Beyond Formal joining us here. Yo, what's going on, brother?
And it's got John Krasinski, so that's awesome.
Yeah, John Krasinski. Yeah, I mean, Jim Halpert out there, laying down ordnance, firing rounds and stuff. So,
yep. And it was suggested during COVID. I don't know if you remember seeing that tweet where Hillary's like, "Anybody got any good movies I should watch?" And then everybody put down 13 Hours.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and you get some people, they're like, "We don't watch 13 Hours. It's all political." It's like, no, it's not. It doesn't mention Hillary at all. Doesn't really mention the State Department at all. And so it's just like it just I like how it lays out the events and just lets you make up your own mind. That's what it does right there. It's like it's not trying to preach it. Yeah, it's not a
it kind of ignores all the
after school specials. It's not a conservative after school special. It just says, hey, this is what happened. Make up your own mind. Hey, we got Beyond Formal saying, I've been here, just not here. Yeah, I think, Lindy, hopefully your Super 8 internet's not cutting out.
It is. I'm gonna refresh.
Okay, sounds good. So, yep, I'll be here cooking along right here, but yeah. So James Bond. He was saying like James Bond movies are too boring for him and that kind of thing. And so I could see how people could watch the Sean Connery and maybe some of the Roger Moore movies, and not to speak for Lindy, but I could see some people watching all the Sean Connery movies and some of the early Roger Moore James Bond movies, and they're dated, they're slower. The Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan, Timothy Dalton movies, they do have a faster pace to them, and I think they incorporate more action into them. Pardon me. Than a lot of the Sean Connery and Roger Moore movies and that kind of thing. But I mean, you just have to be a fan of James Bond and the genre and that kind of thing. If you're not, you're not, and all that. And I think that's why a lot of people they like the Mission Impossible movies more than James Bond because I mean, let's face it. Ethan Hunt is basically American James Bond. I mean, that's what Ethan Hunt is. Hey, he's back. And I think, your connection looks better, I think, right now.
Yeah, my license must have ran out for the internet for a little bit. I had to redo it.
Oh, okay. It's all good. No, you're all good in the hood right here. But I was just talking about, a lot of people, they'll like Mission Impossible, the Mission Impossible movies more than James Bond because the Mission Impossible movies, they do have a bigger budget. I think like the action in them is a little bit more frequent. And the pacing is a little quicker than James Bond. And let's face it, Ethan Hunt is basically American James Bond. So,
yeah, and not only that, but they had Simon Pegg, and he made those Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Yeah, and his part right there is Benji.
Yep, his small part, barely in it, but he's always great, and I don't think I've seen anything bad with him.
Yep. The first time we really see Simon Pegg in a Mission Impossible movie is Mission Impossible 3, and he's still there, in the lab of sorts. And he has a really great monologue where he's talking about like what the anti-god is. I don't know if you remember that, where they're trying to figure out because they're after this thing called the rabbit's foot. That's the MacGuffin in Mission Impossible 3. They're trying to find the rabbit's foot, but they don't know what it is, and so. Simon Pegg, as Benji, he gives Ethan Hunt his theory as far as what he thinks maybe the rabbit's foot is. He's like, well, we think it might be the anti-god, and he starts explaining like what the anti-god is and how it basically lays waste to everything. It just breaks everything down. It destroys everything to a molecular level there, and everything completely is destroyed. And the way he describes it is much better than what I just did. But the way he describes it is it gives it the willies, man. Like it sends a shiver up your spine there, the way he does it. So yeah, he does add some or a lot to the Mission Impossible series.
Yes,
See,
he does.
Beyond Formal says Pierce Brosnan was the best James Bond. I just, I don't have a favorite James Bond right there. I mean, it's because my favorite James Bond just changes from 1 minute to the next. Ask me today, I'll say, well, I like Daniel Craig in a couple of his James Bond movies, the best out of all the James Bonds. Ask me tomorrow, I'll say Sean Connery. Ask me next week, I'll say, oh, I like Goldeneye, Pierce Brosnan. I mean, it's just, I can never make up my damn mind.
I just like the Goldeneye game.
Yeah, was that Super Nintendo? Can't remember what it was.
Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like that movie it's a good movie, but it's known a lot more for it's known a lot for its video game, and then the BMW that it was in that movie. There, I think what was it, the Z1 or something like that. It was a BMW was coming out with one of their new models, and they used it in that movie right there. So
kind of like the introduction, like, hey, check this out. Look what we got now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a great way to do it. I mean, if you're gonna introduce a car, may as well put it in a crazy action movie. Like that's not Fast and the Furious 437.
Oh, right, exactly. Yeah, that's capitalism. I mean, it's like, yeah, you got cars you want to sell, you want to throw them in a movie to promote them. It ain't hurting nobody.
Yeah, give the studio 20 of them, and we'll put it in the movie.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, that's what cracks me up. Was like, when people lose their bowels over like product placement in movies. Like I'd rather have product placement in movies than have a cereal box that just says cereal on it. I mean,
yeah.
Like I don't mind that there's a Captain Crunch box on the table. I don't like pack up all my shit and walk out of the theater. Oh my God, they got a box of Captain Crunch on the table. That's product placement. I'm out of here.
Yeah. What? There's a Coke in here. This is a Pepsi family.
I'm out of here. What the hell? What is that, a Cheetos bag? Oh my God. There's not Cheetos in real life. How could there be a Cheetos bag on the table there?
The worst product placement was Game of Thrones the last season with the Starbucks cup.
Right. Yeah, they're sitting up there on Winterfell, and it's like they're all just talking. Yep, there's a Starbucks cup just sitting right there, and Starbucks was the hottest selling coffee in the Seven Kingdoms. So
it was, and they had a very famous one on the wall, but you never got to see it because you had to have special permissions to go there. Only the Lord Commander got to go to that special Starbucks.
You had to take the oath.
Yeah. The Starbucks oath.
Yeah. It's like, new only at our Castle Black location. We have caramel macchiato with sprinkles and peppermint. It's like, come and get yours before all the White Walkers steal them. Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be scary.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But
and happy opening day too, by the way.
Oh, Major League Baseball. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Unfortunately, my team is down. Fan? I am, and they're down right now. But that figures.
Yep. I stopped watching baseball like after they did that boycott of they did the boycott of the All-Star game in Atlanta over the racist voting law in Georgia. And they decided they moved they basically took the All-Star game from Atlanta, moved it to Denver, and as it turns out, Colorado had more strict voting laws than this bill would have instilled into Georgia there. And apparently, Major League Baseball, they didn't do their homework. They didn't check out everything. They didn't check the voting laws of Colorado. It turns out, yeah, Colorado's voting laws are even stricter than the ones you guys keep losing your poop over that they want to put in place in Georgia right there. But lo and behold, like no one said jocks are the smartest people in the world, or people that run sports leagues are the smartest people in the world. So they decided, like,
oh well, we don't like this. Anyway, we don't like conservatives. We don't like Republicans. So we're gonna move the All-Star game from Atlanta to Denver. Take that, you pieces of shit.
And so ever since the Major League Baseball, ever since they fell to that pressure, I've been like, fuck Major League Baseball ever since then. So
well, and I usually, like most years, I would catch at least a little bit of every game because I love baseball, die hard, I love it, always have.
Sure.
But the Twins, they've had this weird contract issue with like who's ever their broadcasting license is with. So like the past like 5 years, I couldn't watch any game at all because it was always blacked out or we're not going to air this game, blah blah blah.
Right.
But this year they were invited to do their own streaming service. The Twins and the Guardian, the Indians, both have their own. You pay a subscription just for them, and there's zero blackouts. So I'm on a trial right now to see if it's worth having.
Oh,
I don't know like any players in the MLB right now. It's been that long. They're probably all long gone.
Well, it killed me, like, because right after that whole episode with the All-Star game happened, that was not long before here in town, the Rangers built their brand new stadium, and I was like, hell, I've been wanting to go to the Rangers' new stadium because I've been to plenty of games when they played at their old one that was perfectly fine. It was built in 1994, but because it gets so hot here, they're like, oh, we gotta have this. We have to have this stadium with a roof on it. And so, to this day, I've never been to that new Rangers stadium. It's like 15 minutes away from me. I've never been to it there just because, I'm like, fuck Major League Baseball. Now, to anybody who wants to still watch it, I don't like hold any ill will. Like, you do what do you, but I'm just not watching it. And they're
trying to figure out if it's the same one because I was down there for my anniversary, me and the wife, or our honeymoon. Sorry, we went down to Fort Worth, and we stayed right across the Cowboy Stadium, and we went to a Twins Rangers game down there.
Okay.
Is it still the ballpark at Arlington? Is that the one they still use?
Yeah, it's basically right. It's cattywampus from the old stadium there. So it's so the old stadium didn't have a roof, and then the new one does. Okay. So that's how you can tell if you're at the old one or the new one.
How old is it now?
The new one?
Yeah,
I think it's like 3 or 4 years old, something like that. So
yeah, there was the ballpark at Arlington or whatever it was called was beautiful.
Oh, like, yeah, the old one.
Yeah, it gave Target Field a run for their money because Target Field is one of the most beautiful fields out there.
Oh yeah, exactly. It had that classic styling to it. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't know why they had to have a new one. Well, I mean, I know why. I mean, a lot of people they wanted it climate controlled because when you go to a Rangers game in July, which I have, in that old stadium, it's hot as balls.
That's what I was down there too. It was July.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's July in Texas. Newsflash, everybody! It gets really hot in Texas in July. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a flip-flop melt because Six Flags is all blacktop asphalt.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep. Just down the street from Ranger Stadium.
Yep. And so it's 110, but 110 outside. Guess what that black asphalt is? It melted my flip-flop. I thought I had a big ass blister. No, I was burning my foot every step I took because I literally burnt a hole the size of a quarter in the bottom of my shoe.
Oh yeah, yep. You bet. Yeah. I didn't like that though. Like when Six Flags first opened up, like after they thought it was safe enough after the scamdemic, and because there was still a lot of people that were scared shitless to go outside, you could go to Six Flags for cheap, and there were no lines whatsoever. So right after, well, as Jasmine Crockett calls them, Hot Wheels, after Governor Abbott decided to, unlock everybody, let everybody out of their jails, then, I scurried, down to Six Flags. And it was like me and like 20 other people there. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. But when I went, it was expensive as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was $200 to $300 for me and the wife to get in, and then plus they wanted another like $200 for us to get into the water park. It's like,
Oh yeah, right. Which isn't
no,
even attached. So yeah, so you got to cross
yeah,
the interstate.
yeah. You had to take a bus across, and it was we were early 20s, so that was a lot of money.
Sure, yeah. It ain't cheap. It ain't cheap whatsoever. So yeah, it's but yeah, they had pretty cheap tickets then, just because I think they were trying to get people, like all the people that are like peeking out their curtains out the window, go, is it safe to go out? Is there a virus still floating through the air? I don't know. Hey, honey, did Dr. Fauci say we could go out yet? I don't know. They did or not. We better stay in for another 6 months just to be safe.
And I don't know about you, but I still see people wearing masks in their cars.
Oh yeah, yep, exactly. How to say you're a Democrat without saying you're a Democrat. So yeah, right
Now
there.
you just burned down a Tesla. Now you just burned down Teslas.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, we went decades and decades without wearing masks in this country. I mean, Asian countries did it all the time, but we didn't, in decades and decades. And we didn't have people dropping dead all over the place, from respiratory viruses or anything like that. So,
Yeah. And I'd argue we never had that since the 1918.
the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it didn't even work then. So right there, because it's a respiratory virus. Like, I mean, the good, easy, simple rule of thumb is if you put on a mask and somebody farts and you can smell it, that mask ain't stopping any virus whatsoever, because the particles for a virus are a lot smaller than your fart particles. So if your fart particles are making it into your mask, the virus is making it into your mask. So,
well, I always use that because I have a allergy to like grain dust.
mm-hmm.
So I wear a mask during that, which is an N95 approved for all that stuff. Well, after you wear your mask so long with just your breathing, it gets wet and stops filtering stuff.
Yeah.
If that dust gets in there, which is probably 1,000 times bigger than a virus, your mask ain't working.
Right.
I was even told by a doctor, because they're like, "Oh, where's the surgical mask?" He's like, "That's just so we don't spit on you accidentally in your open wound."
Right.
It's like
exactly.
So we don't drool or something.
Yeah, it's for stuff. It's so stuff doesn't get out, not that stuff doesn't get in. Yeah. Right there. So yeah. I see that now, and I'm just like, what are you doing right there? It's like it's the totem for for being a leftist or a liberal right there. It's like their little totem there. That now a lot of them, they call MAGA hats the totem for the right, or for being being part of MAGA. It's like, I don't consider myself MAGA. I voted for Trump, but I'm not MAGA. I mean, I'm not flying some, I don't have a picture of Jesus with his hands on Trump's shoulder hanging on my wall. I don't have a big MAGA 2024 flag on a truck or something like that. No, I don't even know. So.
I don't even know anybody that has that stuff. Like, they're like, "Oh, the red hat." I don't know a single person that owns the red MAGA hat.
MAGA hat.
Well, I mean, they probably own it, but they keep it as like like a souvenir type thing, maybe.
They have it in a vault. They have to go through like 7 doors, each with their own keypad and retinal scan, and then there it is. There's my MAGA hat.
Yeah, I don't understand why people do that anyway, but
oh yeah, exactly.
Each their own.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through these live chats here real quick. We got Trevor in here, who 57, almost an hour ago. Trevor, sorry I didn't see your live chat right there. But Trevor's like, you had me at John Wick.
Get off of YouTube, Trevor.
Yeah, exactly. Get on Rumble, man. Get with the now, man. There you go. We got Beyond Formal. Pierce Brosnan was the best James Bond.
Beyond.
What's that?
I said huh?
Yep. There you go.
Doesn't know how to spell. Freaking nerd.
Yeah. Got the apple bottom jeans with the fur. The whole crowd was looking at.
I mean, you did bring up Jasmine Crockett, so maybe that's what he was going for.
Right. Yeah, Hood Rat, Miss Thang herself.
And what's funny is she thought she did something with the Hot Wheels thing. Everybody laughed at it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Abbott laughed his ass off on it, because he's been in the wheelchair since, the early 80s?
Yeah, like after a tree fell on him, so, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, okay. Oh, Hot Wheels, that's so bad.
Right. Yeah, it's like, well, I like it because there's like, I guess that gives us permission to call Tammy Duckworth. We get to call her Hot Wheels now because she's
Is
a
she in a wheelchair?
she's a Democrat congresswoman. She's in a wheelchair, or she's in a
I
yeah
I didn't know that. I just called her. Oh, what I said something really bad about her on
icy
accident.
bitch.
I said something about probably retard. I'm sure because that's my go-to.
Oh, sure. There you go. I mean, it covers a lot of bases. You can't go wrong with classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she's in it in a way. Madison Cawthorn, he was a Republican, congressman or senator, and he was in a wheelchair, and he didn't last very long. So, but yeah, I guess it's all bets are off. We get to call anybody in a wheelchair Hot Wheels now. So awesome.
I'm fine with that. Like bring comedy back. Like if they're joking about a disability, that's fine.
Yeah,
Then
exactly. Yeah, that just gives us a license to do it now. So there you go. I love it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah. So I think that John Wick. I just kind of like clumsily bring it back to that right there. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that, and they've got the spin-off movie from the John Wick universe called Ballerina that is coming out here. I think it's coming out in May or June. When is that coming out? But it's got like Anna de Armas in it, and she's playing. I mean, you knew this was going to come. I mean, you have John Wick. He's like a cool male action figure. Now we have to have, the ladies. We have to have a John Wick spinoff for the ladies. June 6th. It's coming out on June 6th.
Well, I'm just looking. She ain't that bad to look at. So
Anna de Armas. Oh yeah, but no, she is smoking hot. So yeah. I first saw her. She's there was that movie called War Dogs with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller, and Anna de Armas played Miles Teller's wife. And I remember seeing her for the first time in the movie, and I was like, "Who is that?" Yeah.
Yeah. No. No, and that's what's one thing I really hate about it. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a fine movie, but when they try to pass a woman off as a badass person kicking everybody's ass, it's like, well, sorry, but she especially her, she's tiny. She's so small.
She's very tiny. Yeah.
And that same thing with like the Black Widow.
Oh, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, her, and then when they did that horrible sequel or whatever it was, just
the standalone movie for Black Widow.
Yeah, where you didn't even have to know it was Black Widow, and it would still been a terrible movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, they need to know women aren't going to be kicking ass. They're not badasses. I mean, they're badass women, but they're not kicking dudes' asses.
Oh yeah, I mean, you take like the strongest man against the strongest woman. Obviously, the strongest man is going to win. It's not sexist to say that. It's science, as Ron Burgundy would say. It's science. We got greater lung capacity. We got faster healing ability. We got more muscle mass.
Fast twitch fibers. Yeah, we just have the leg up on everything.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's a movie and they show like this badass female agent, she's kicking ass, and she's going up against like not big hulking dudes, like dudes that you could tell are portrayed as like just not really that excellent in the fighting arts or something like that. I'll buy that. I'll be like, okay, I get that. All right. Or she's kicking ass out of some street cop or something like that. Then yeah, I mean like one movie that they do that where they have a female agent kicking ass all over the place that I'm into, that I didn't mind, was Salt with Angelina Jolie. That came out back in 2010, and I like if her name was like Evelyn Salt in that movie. So if they show her and she's going up against like some beat cop, in Cleveland, Ohio, then yeah, she's kicking the shit out of that guy. Believable. Or even some detective or something like that. But if she's going up against some Delta Force operator or some Navy SEAL Team 6 guy, she's kicking his ass. All right, get the hell out of here with that noise. So
Yeah.
like not buying that whatsoever. But I think Anna de Armas, this reeks of there were powers that be in Hollywood, or somebody with some pull said, "Hey, all right, that's great, guys. You got your typical stereotypical, male ass kicker. Now it's time for the ladies. Okay, there you go. It's we have to have one for the ladies." And so they had to come up with Ballerina. Now I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that when Ballerina comes out, Anna de Armas is very convincing. Where she's very convincing. Where you look at her, you see how she conducts herself and carries herself in the movie, and she makes it believable that she's kicking so much ass in a movie. I want it to be that way. I want her to sell me on that movie. So I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's believable. I could see her kicking the ass out of all these guys. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and we're talking about spin-offs. I see they're doing a few more yet.
Oh yeah, like what? Which
Kane
one?
is in development. Kane.
Okay, yeah.
And apparently the Continental is a TV series.
Yeah, it came out like on Hulu or something like that. They had like one. The ratings for it were shit. I didn't do very well. I don't think it got picked up for a second season there. But that one started. Yeah, Mel Gibson started that one, which may be why it didn't do so great. So a lot of people still.
They're still salty with him.
Yeah, they're still salty about his little controversy that happened almost 20 years ago.
Oh my! It wasn't it?
It was like 2004, 2005, something like that. So when he went off on that rant, which what he did was wrong, but I'm like, come on, how about a little grace over here? I mean, come on, like, I'm sure that there's some celebrity that that agrees with the worldview, the leftist worldview of Hollywood that has been forgiven. Man, hell, Roman Polanski, he had statutory rape, back in the day, and he's a beloved film director, and that, I mean, and they loved him even right after that happened. I mean, sure, he had to like skip town and move to France so that he could be arrested here in the States for it. But yeah, Roman Polanski is still like a beloved, revered film director, and he what he did wasn't cool.
Or Weinstein, they still kind of. I mean, they praised him that whole time. They knew what was going on. There's no way they didn't.
Oh yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's but Mel Gibson now he's spouting conservative overtures, and so that's really keeping people from no. For a lot of people, that's probably worse than his anti-Semitic stuff that he was saying almost 20 years ago.
And that would have been very popular. A year or two ago, and
oh yeah,
that would have been very popular. He would have been.
Mel Gibson was saying that right now. He'd get a professorship at Columbia University.
Right? Yeah. I hate Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's and it's easy to hate them now because of social media. Because at least back 25 years ago or 30 years ago, Hollywood, celebrities, actors, actresses, there's still kind of a mystery to them, right? Because the only time we saw them was like on the cover of People magazine or Us Weekly and award shows and movie premieres, and then you were still allowed to maybe keep your preconceptions about them, like, oh man, I bet Robert De Niro, I bet he's a genius. I bet he's just a fountain of wisdom and
he's such a badass.
And I'm sure if he lived on my block, he'd be the smartest, most well thought of person on the block. And then of course, social media came out, and you quickly realize, like, oh my God, all these people that I had, held in high regard before, if they were lived on my block, they would be the stupidest people on my block. So,
and what's crazy about De Niro is how short he is. I didn't know that till I saw him when he was in New York doing his whole like, "Oh, come after me." It's like, did you play a badass mobster in movies?
Oh yeah,
you're a butter soft bitch in real life.
Oh right, yep, exactly, yeah. My Sylvester Stallone balloon got popped there when I was still in the military, and I went through LAX. and I saw Sylvester Stallone in the terminal there, and he was short. I mean, he was like maybe a couple inches too high to play a leprechaun, but not much taller than that, so.
But I mean, he's perfect in what's that show? Tulsa King.
Oh right, yeah, yep.
I love that show. I was not a very big fan of Sly because, well, he sucks at talking.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
Tulsa King
you can
was
tell, like, he's got
very
some
good.
deep thoughts. It's just like his vocalization of
Yeah,
them aren't
they're
very
here,
good.
but they can't make it here.
Right,
Up
exactly. Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's kind of like Trump. I mean, not exactly the same, but like Trump's thing is he's got no brain mouth filter. I mean, he's got like
Yeah.
a fun house mirror of thoughts in his head. A lot of them are good. A lot of them, end up with good stuff. Like, hey, let's build a wall. Let's cut taxes. Let's
Yep.
do this good stuff. But a lot of that stuff is like some circus, freaky show stuff that
Yeah.
like you and I, we might think of some nonsensical, weird, freaky deaky stuff, but then we got this filter in our head that goes, I want to say that. I want to say that right now. And then your filter goes, no, don't say that.
Mm-mm.
He doesn't have that. It's like
No,
whatever is in here goes right out of his mouth.
it's really funny because like when he gives some of those speeches or has some comments, like I have a coworker that I have to be the Trump translator for because I'm like, no, this is what he meant by that. Like I know he said this, but this is
Right.
what he was talking about because like you listen to enough of his stuff, you can kind of figure out what he means,
Oh yeah, right.
like where
Yeah.
he's going, but he doesn't quite get there. It doesn't
Yeah.
quite get to the station, so you just kind of have to guide it the rest of the way yourself. You're so
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you have to it really helps if you just pay attention to his actions and not so much his
yeah,
words.
yeah.
Pay attention to his actions because that's what matters, in the long term, when it comes down to it there. And then, because I mean, it also helps because when he talks, he makes these promises that he can't keep. It helps keep you from being aggravated about them because you could just tell people, even your if you have any liberal friends, like don't pay attention to anything he says, just go off his actions. So
Mhm.
when he says that he's going to bring the prices down for everything on day one of his presidency, don't
Yeah.
listen to them because there's no friggin' way he could do that. There's no conceivable way he could do that.
No.
That's just him bragging. That's him. He's a braggadocious
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
And
He can.
but when
Yeah.
he says stuff like that, it gives the left ammunition that they don't need. They're good at making shit up. They don't need you to help them out. Okay,
Right.
so I wish
Right.
he just would that's why I wish he would have a brain mouth filter. But weirdly
Or
enough, if he had a brain mouth filter, he might not have been elected because that's something that a lot of people like about him. They like how he just
no.
says
Yeah.
what's on his mind. He doesn't try to be some slick politician. He doesn't try to be Mitt Romney because Mitt Romney obviously does have a brain mouth filter, and Trump does
Without
not. And so, yeah, if he was like, and that's the problem. Like Ron DeSantis. Like I voted for Ron DeSantis in the primary, but one of the reasons he's probably never going to get voted president is because he's got too much of a brain mouth filter, and so no one thinks of, man, when Ron DeSantis talks, I'm so excited. I'm so intrigued. Oh man, I'm hanging off every word that Ron DeSantis says because he's very. I talk like this. Here's my policy. Here's what I
Well,
did. Where Trump was like,
he
so this is
did.
what I'm going to do. I'm going to do
Yeah.
this, and I'm going to do it from a UFC fight. Hey, have you met my friend Dana White over here? Hey, here's Kid Rock.
Right.
Ron DeSantis is never going to be like that. Ron DeSantis is going to be like, here's Clint Eastwood over here, and then I've got AC/DC over here, and that's not Ron DeSantis. So because that's not Ron DeSantis, he's probably never going to be president. So.
But I mean, and he was that a little bit that way at the beginning of his run, but I think he hired some horrible advisors
Oh yeah, right.
because then he like out of nowhere became the robot that was like trying to play both sides. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
Ron, no, go back to you. People
Yeah.
loved you. Get rid of your advisors.
Oh yeah.
It's like Trump. I was telling I was on Liberated podcast last night talking about this a little bit. I'm like, I despised Trump at the beginning, like most people.
Mhm.
But the more the primary or the debates and whatnot were happening, the more he got out there. Every single one, I was like, all right, maybe this guy's got it.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, but I don't know, probably by primary time, it was like, yup, this is the dude.
Right. Yeah.
This is my
Exactly.
guy. He don't give a shit what he says. He's just gonna say it. He's gonna do whatever he wants. I love it. That's what
Right.
I
Right.
want my president to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I mean, I remember back, in the day, I used to put a lot of stock in my presidential candidate acting presidential, right? Because I saw too
Yeah.
many movies with presidents
Mhm.
in there, and Hollywood presidents always act very presidential. You see, think
Yep.
Michael Douglas in An American President, Bill
Yeah.
Pullman in Independence Day. They act very presidential, which it would be nice if Trump was very presidential like that, and also did the actions that he did, but I don't need that. So he taught everybody, well, it's stuck on some people, not others. Some people just still don't get it. But I think he taught everybody, and some people absorb this, that just don't pay attention to what he says so much. Pay attention to his
Mhm.
actions there. And so, yeah, it was like a sea change to me as far as how I needed to think of presidential candidates. It taught me, like, just care about what their actions, care about the things that actually affect your life. If Trump is talking about grabbing women in the pussy, that doesn't affect my life. At the most, it makes me roll my eyes, but it doesn't affect, like, how much in taxes I pay. It doesn't
Right.
affect, like, how what my grocery prices are going to be. It doesn't affect that. It just makes me maybe roll my eyes and go, "Oh my god, why did you say that?" But that doesn't affect my
Yeah.
life. So,
Oh, yeah. I've had plenty of eye roll moments with him talking,
oh
and
yeah, yeah,
it's fine because it's like, well, you know what? If I had to go out and speak and everybody hung on to every word I said, there'd be a shit ton of eye roll movements too.
oh yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, the alternative is, as far as conservatives go, like, you had a bunch of candidates like George W. Bush and Mitt Romney, where they would act presidential, and their talking fit the bill, but their
Yeah.
actions didn't. They didn't do shit. Their
Yep.
actions. So what really mattered? Their actions. They left you wanting. Where Trump, his speech leaves you wanting, but his
Yeah.
actions, the things that affect your life, they don't leave you wanting. They're like, "Yeah, Trump, there you go. Way to go, buddy. I like your
Yeah.
actions. About that talking thing, we'll cover that another day. But
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
And
Keep signing those Abraham Accords. Yeah, so
yeah. And that's why I'm not for the Doug Burgum pick that he had
hmm.
for interior,
Oh
because
yeah. Was that?
Doug Burgum he was my governor for, well, till his term expired here.
Yeah.
He did the great political talking. He's great at talking, and he promised all this stuff, but then
Yeah.
he one day he'd do the great conservative thing, then the next day he'd sign some stupid liberal bill that made no sense to be signed at all. And it's like, all right, which one are you? Are you just trying to appeal to every single person, or you want
Sure.
to, appeal to your base? Like, you make conservatives happy at this point, and then you go and do this bullshit and make the liberals happy. Like, stop that, knock it
Right.
off.
Right. Yeah, he's like
So
Mike
I,
DeWine. Mike DeWine in Ohio. Like Mike DeWine, he'll sign some conservative bill because he's a Republican, but
oh
then
yeah,
there was no one that loved to write love sonnets to vaccines and lockdowns, quite like Republican Governor Mike DeWine in Ohio, right there. So he would do that because, I don't know if he's a germaphobe, or he just loves arousing liberals and leftists, with him, having a torrid love affair with vaccines. But then, yeah, then he turned right around and signed some conservative bill on maybe abortion or taxes or something like
yeah,
that. So
yeah. Well, they're, I don't know. I don't trust any politician really, because you're a narcissist. You're in it to make money,
oh
for the
yeah,
most
right.
part.
Yeah, you have to be some
But
kind of narcissist to be a politician in
oh yeah,
anyway. Some
like,
some are bigger narcissists than others. So yeah.
yeah, like, trust me, I did a short run for Congress. You got to be a narcissist.
Oh yeah, right, right. Yep, exactly. Because there is no room for imposter syndrome when you're trying to run for
No.
for for some any kind of office. Same thing if you're like an entertainer. No room for imposter syndrome right there. It's going to affect your performance, all of that
Yep.
stuff right there. But real quick here, let me just remind everybody to, because it just popped into my head, to hit the like button down there. Just go ahead and hit the like button there. And also hit the old subscribe or follow button down there if you haven't already. Okay, if you guys are digging what Lindy and I are talking about. So, and we're going to get back to John Wick here in a second and that kind of thing. But that's the thing I like about my show and and other people's shows is it's a fluid show as far as the conversation goes, right? We're sometimes we'll go off on tangents and that kind of thing, but I like my show to be like a couple of dudes are just sitting at the bar talking and there's no agenda or anything like that as far as like, all right, at 8:00 we're going to talk about this, and then starting at 8:25 we're going to talk about that. Like, no, you don't do that in real life, right? When you're sitting there talking to your buddy or your family, you don't do that. And so it's the same way, same deal here on Movies America. Spoiler warning right there then. And also, if you're not watching live and you can't live chat with me and Lindy right now, and I, and communicate with you back, you're watching the playback of this later on, well, we can still communicate with each other there, brother, sister, okay? All you have to do is get in the comments down below there on this episode, and let me know. Let me know. Hey, what did you think of the episode? Maybe you hated it. Maybe you loved it. Maybe you loved it in a very disturbing way. I don't know, but or you could put in there like, hey, what's a movie that you want me to review? And all I ask is make sure it's a movie that you know more than you and maybe 5 other people are going to want a review for. Okay, so I'm not going to review Belly Button Lint, the motion picture. Okay, I'm not doing that. Or yeah, exactly. Or the Toe Jam Chronicles. Okay, there you go. I know Lindy is sorely disappointed right there. So yeah, he was having a good night, and then I totally ruined it for him. So yes. We are no longer on speaking terms there. Yes, I'm persona non grata. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, follow me. And then also, hey, check out LindyRigg. Look up LindyRigg on Rumble. Follow him there. Any other platforms you're on there, Lindy, that you want to turn them on to?
It's just X and Rumble, really.
X and Rumble. Nice and easy.
And yeah, Rumble, you just honestly in the search bar, if you type in Lindy, if you get to that far, it's going to be just me. I know there's another one there. It's Limitless Lindy, but she sucks. She's terrible. She's a terrible, terrible creator. I have no idea. I've never watched it. I just know that that's my only competition when you type Lindy in the search bar.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. You're not on Blue Sky?
No.
That's your. I pictured you as like maybe a big Blue Sky or a what's the other one? Tribal.
I may or may not have a Blue Sky account.
Yeah, be a good. Well, hey, you know what? It's a good way to communicate out there. I mean, there are people out there. They may not like to hear what you say, but
oh no, there's one day I'll have to show. I'll send you the chats that we have with that. There's a few of us that are on Blue Sky.
Yeah,
and we have some wonderful screenshots from conversations we've had.
Yeah,
we've out leftied the lefties in some instances.
Oh, really?
So
are you just like out there to stir up shit, or are you trying to go out there and like purposely talk all lefty just to see if you can get more lefty than the lefties?
Well, there's that. We try to see how ridiculous we can get them.
Oh, right, yeah. See, like what you can get them to agree to, like, oh, that'd be perfectly fine. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and if you guys subscribe to Van, if you actually hit the subscribe button on Rumble and become a monthly supporter, you will have access to that chat where we have that, because that's part of that is an offshoot of the Titty Peen chat, but it is absolutely available to everybody in it, I believe.
There you go. So membership has its privileges.
It does.
It does right there. So yeah. So if you snooze, you lose over there right there. Okay. So all you gotta do is take the initiative, everybody, and subscribe, follow there, and get in there and open yourself up to a whole new world of depraved, disturbing, entertaining, intriguing material there. Absolutely.
I mean, you're in that chat. It's kind of ridiculous.
Mm. Yeah,
Like-
I imagine.
No,
I mean,
no.
that's the thing is like, I think, like Blue Sky, I mean, I think that conservatives should be okay with going out there and spouting their conservative views, because that's the thing. Like, with X, people always say, well, X is nothing but a bunch of conservatives, on X right now. It's like, well, a big reason for that is because all you lefties, you guys decided to leave X. No one kicked you out of X.
And they let
X
us
can't
back.
control whether all you lefty lemmings left X. If you guys would have stayed and maintained the balance between conservatives and lefties, it wouldn't be just a bastion of conservative thought.
Well, it's the fact that they let conservative views back into X.
Mm-hmm.
Because my original account when I started X, I got suspended for 30 days. I had never posted on there. I just followed too many right-wing people.
Of course. Bad
And
boy.
this is back in the Dorsey days, so it was Twitter then, and Dorsey was still in charge. And
Sure, yep.
I got followed like 10 people, and they're like, "Oh, you're following too many of these people." I'm like, "What?" Like, you can't have an account anymore. So I'm like, "All right, fuck you then."
Right,
So
exactly. Yes. Yeah, you're circumventing our indoctrination that we're trying to soak into you here.
Yeah, and honestly, my entire algorithm on X is all lefties, every single one of them.
On X.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. I mean, a lot of mine are. So sometimes I think part of it is for me is like I'll comment, I'll reply on theirs.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I guess you like this person. You like hearing from Brooklyn Net client, and you like hearing, from Harry's sister, because you're replying on all their stuff. And so I've had to discipline myself, like, stop replying on their shit, because you keep getting them in your algorithm, which I guess it's not
talking shit.
What's that?
Same with me. It's like, stop talking shit on these people's posts,
right?
And then you won't see them anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't not do it.
Exactly.
I have to.
Yeah,
I'm a professional shit talker.
Yeah, it's like that old Ren and Stimpy episode, where like,
don't you want to hit the red button, the red candy-like button? Don't you want to hit it? Oh, it's right there. It's calling to you.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Here's how I'm going to segue back to John Wick. I got a few videos here that I think are mildly entertaining here. And so let's check these bad boys out here with these John Wick videos here. I got them nice and short because that caters to my short attention span over here. So let's make sure we got that going on and share that all here. And serial core here. Share that. That's not, where are we at? There we go. So we can bring that up. Presentation. Let's try that. There we go. All right. So I'm learning Rumble Studio, everybody, for the first time. I'm still a babe over here. There we go. I'm still a baby in Rumble Studio.
It is a big learning curve coming off of StreamYard. I will give you that. I had a lot of troubles with it.
Oh yeah, exactly. But just like StreamYard, I think eventually you'll get adept at it and all that stuff right here. But in the meantime, it's kind of a pain in the ass. But I know this says Ben Shapiro, the favorite person of so many people here, but it's not about him. But let's check this out.
Before I had a dog, I remember watching a movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a movie of Keanu Reeves called John Wick. Have you guys seen that film? It's a great film, yeah. But if you don't know this film, I'll tell you the premise quickly. It's a film where Keanu Reeves plays a retired hitman. Start of the film, someone shoots his dog, which causes Keanu to go on a revenge mission where he kills somewhere in the region of 18,000 people till he finds out who shot his dog. Before I had a dog, I watched it and that's a fun movie, but one of the most unrealistic premises for a movie I've ever seen in my life. Now I have a dog, that is the most realistic premise for a movie. If anyone even lays one hand on little Santiago, I will kill them. I'm going full Batman on them, that's what's happening.
Half true. We have a dog. He's...
Yeah, I don't want to hear from him.
Yeah, who gives a shit, Ben? You have a gay little dog.
Exactly. There we go. So let's move on to that. Your cat is a trained assassin.
when the Russian guy is talking
Here
to
we
his
go.
son and he punches his son. And he said, "What? I stole a fucking car." And he punches his son in the stomach. And then he pops open the liquor. And he goes, "My son, it's not what you did. It's who you did it to." And he goes, "Who? That fucking nobody?" And he just goes, "That fucking nobody is John Wick." I love that movie. But why? It's the sexy assassin that you root for. Have we forgiven his past where he worked for the Russian mob? It's the weirdest sort of hero that's ever existed because it's so satisfying because they killed his puppy.
I mean, Theon Greyjoy, usually he just gets what he wants.
Right,
He's used
right.
to that. But,
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to have his dick and balls cut off in Game of Thrones, and Ramsay Bolton gave him what he wanted.
with the cat one, I was honestly expecting it to be like they shoot the cat, then it's just end credit scene. Like, That's what I was expecting out of that one. I'd never seen that one.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, because that's how that would end. Like John would be like, "It's just a cat. I don't care. Yeah, there you go. Let's get another one. End the movie. End the movie."
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, but it was even better.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, have you seen a picture like the screenplay to John Wick when they shoot the dog, and it's like it's this thick, and then the screenplay to John Wick if they don't kill the dog, it's like that.
Yeah. Like he just fucks off into normal life,
Oh yeah, yep, exactly, right there. But I mean, normally I don't like. I never like movies where the dog is killed, but in John Wick, it's an integral part of the movie. There, I mean, because
yeah,
if they would have just jacked, John Wick up to get his car and let this dog alone, then yeah, I mean, you wouldn't see there would be no high table. There'd be no Continental. You wouldn't see any, adjudicator and all the whatever, all these assassins and shit like that. None of that would have happened there. But you killed his dog, and it opened up the floodgates of action there. So
it did, and they did a really good job with that. Like, because, like you said, people left and right, you can all agree, you don't fuck with somebody's dog. I mean,
nope.
And like, you normally you would think like the wife dying could have brought him back to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
right,
with the premise that like she got him the dog the day she died, right? That's when he got the dog.
Yeah, it looks like so they had like the funeral that day, and then that very night, the dog got delivered.
Yeah, it was weird because I didn't know you could just get dogs delivered whenever you want, like have that in your will.
Yeah, I guess for the right price you can. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that's a thing, I'm going to get a lot of people some cats.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You could probably get a fucking Komodo dragon delivered to your house for enough money.
This happened. Well, guess what? You now have a lizard.
Me personally, somebody like bought me a Komodo dragon and delivered I'd be like, cool. All right, sweet. Hell yeah.
I mean, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But like, give
cool.
them something lame like a.
I'd be like, I would have appreciated that heads up because then I could like prepare and have like a have like a pit with some sand in it or something. So, but
or at least a terrarium. I mean, no, this thing's just gonna hang out.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, its new home is my couch because I haven't made any preparation. So yeah, Kenny Rogers, my new Komodo dragon, because that's what I'd call him is Kenny Rogers.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I mean, it's either that or Six Pack, but that's another Kenny Rogers reference right there. So
it's Kenny Rogers ish. Anyway, if you got a Komodo dragon.
Oh yeah, exactly right there. But so typically right now, and I would be doing a brew review time there, Lindy. Typically I would be doing that right now, but I'm not doing it right now because, and I know if people have been watching my episodes here for the last 2.5 months, you guys have heard me ad nauseum every episode going, okay, I'm not doing a brew review time because I'm doing the 75 hard thing. Well, that's about to come to an end this Sunday because this Sunday, brew review time rises up like a phoenix from the ashes and will reclaim its rightful place on the throne of movies, Merica. But for right now, no. All right, so so right now,
Right now, not happening.
yeah, not gotta do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. There you go.
Not gonna happen. Is what
Not gonna
happened.
happen. But what I can tell you right now is we got Moich. We got Moich. Yes, we got Moich. We got Movies America t-shirts. We got t-shirts for other shows on the Till Death Podcast Network right there. Hell, we got Otter t-shirts. I got Trump Otter and all that stuff right there. Also, and then we don't just have t-shirts for merch. We got shot glasses, pint glasses, Komodo dragons. Well, maybe not them. Yoga pants, particle accelerator. Well, we don't have those either. Maybe next week we'll have those. But in order to see what we have for our merch, you just have to click on the merch link down in the description. It's down there, right? And you'll just go in there and go crazy. Do a little browsing. Okay, so there, come, live your dream of being a browser. Okay, and so when you go in there and you browse, and you eventually get all the stuff that you want in the shopping cart, then put in promo code. I know it says whiskey down there. I still need Ian to fix that, but promo code movies is what you want to use. Movies, and you get free shipping. Everybody, free shipping on your merch right there. So take that, Bezos. All right, there you go, Bezos. And you got nothing on me. Yeah, you got the wife with the big titties, and I don't have that. But you know what? We're coming for you in every other regard. Okay, there you go. Merch for you and everybody in your life right there. So, and hey, we got what's coming up here for holidays there, Lindy? Is it Easter? I think, do people give people gifts do people give people gifts for Easter?
They probably do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just put it in the Easter basket. Yeah, get a movies shirt for your kids' Easter basket, so they can you can find it and be like, oh, what is this? Movies America. I don't know what that is, so let's go watch. Let's Google it or whatever the children or whatever browser children use. It's probably still Google. I don't know.
Thanks, Dad. This sure beats the shit out of that PS5 you bought me last month. When you bought me that PS5 last month, what I was really hoping for was a Movies America t-shirt. Oh, man. But now, you know what? Now you're a good dad again because you got me a Movies America. So,
and get him and coupled with that Movies America shirt or glass or whatever, give him a subscription to Movies America.
Yeah.
Definitely right there. Things.
Exactly. Yeah. Give the gift of Movies America right there. 'Tis the season for Movies America.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well,
so
not, I think Ramadan's about to end, so you might be too late for that.
Which one? Ramadan?
Ramadan, yeah. So end your fast.
Exactly. So right there. So give your loved ones the gift of Movies America. Right there. There you go. Oh. So yes. Because that's what they'll think when you bust out the Movies America t-shirts for little Lucy and little Johnny, then yeah, they'll see that t-shirt for the very first time, and this is what they'll picture. Exactly. So whoa, love it. My God. I love you, Daddy.
Best gift ever.
You are the best dad ever. I'm not going to ask to go live with Mom now.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what happens.
Oh yeah.
Like I gave my children Movies America merch, and they no longer wanted to live with their mom. They wanted to come live with me.
There you go. That's what we do here at Movies America. We bring families together. That's for sure. But yeah. That's how we roll right there. It's heartwarming. I loved it, but
it is.
Yeah, but I think that we can agree here. Just to clumsily segue back to John Wick right there. That Keanu Reeves, he definitely needed this movie. He needed John Wick right there because I think his movie he did right before the first John Wick, I think it was 47 Ronin, which I don't know how people feel about 47 Ronin, but it was a box office bomb. I can't remember what the movie was before that. It was some other. I think the man,
it was a chick flick, wasn't it?
Or something.
Because he did a few chick flicks in there.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did some of those. He did that. The Man Who Fell to Earth, that remake of The Man Who Fell to Earth, the Alien movie. One movie that he did in that period of time in his career where he was just in a downward spiral. That actually I like is that movie Street Kings that's gotten a couple of mentions in this show already with had him, Chris Evans. Chris Evans was in Street Kings before he was captain. It was like I think it was like I think 2008. So I guess 2008 would have been before he was Captain America. There because he was Captain America in 2011, 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
So right there, but yeah.
He did bring back Bill and Ted though, so that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, right. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, with John Wick being such a success, that he's been able to kind of do sequels to some of his old hit movie franchises. Yeah, like Bill and Ted, and of course he did that the Matrix one, and
yeah.
Still hasn't done a Point Break follow up though. Still waiting on that one.
Well, didn't they do a series on that?
Well, they did a remake of Point Break where it was like a bunch of I think like enviro terrorists or something, or it was like it was a piss poor remake of Point Break. So it's not even worth your time. But yeah, it was like it was instead of bank robbing surfers, it was it's like bank robbing environmental terrorists or something like that. So yeah.
Well, I mean, they needed the money for solar panels or something.
Something like that, right? Yeah, they're like, we're just going to capitalize off the name Point Break there. But yeah, no Gary Busey, in that one. No Patrick Swayze. Well, I guess you're not going to get Patrick Swayze at anything now there. So.
Well, I mean, they still got Harold Ramis in the Ghostbusters, so, I mean, there is ways.
Oh, yeah, right. Yep, exactly. Yeah, they got him in Ghostbusters Afterlife right there, which I liked when they had him in that one. I know a lot of people are like, that's just fan service and all that. It's like, what are we supposed to never put stuff like that in movies?
I honestly loved the last two Ghostbusters that they did. I thought they did a great job going to the new generation. Like the woman one sucked. I tried it. I thought it'd be funny because Kristen Wiig is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the rest of them are not.
Right, yeah. I mean, it was weird because you had the director of that, Paul Feig, or however you say his last name. Normally, he makes funny movies. I mean, he made Bridesmaids. He made, what's the one? Oh, Spy. He made Spy. Those are two movies that he came out with before, right before he came out with the 2016, all estrogen-filled Ghostbusters. And yeah, the Ghostbusters with the estrogen ectoplasm crawling all over it. Like, that was a shitty movie, but yeah, Bridesmaids and Spy was good. So
Bridesmaids might actually be like the only entire female like buddy comedy that was actually good.
Right. Yep. I can't think of another one. Yeah, I mean, there might be one out there that is not coming to mind, but yeah, Bridesmaids.
They did the
first one that comes to mind.
They did Bad Moms. I don't think that was very good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I even watched it, even though I love looking at Mila Kunis.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But I don't think I even watched that because it was just, it looked like shit.
Yeah, right, yeah. Baby Mama, that wasn't that good. That was kind of an all-female.
I forgot about that.
What's the, what is it? The Ex-Wives Club or something like that, like back in the 80s or 90s. The one with Goldie Hawn and Diane Keaton and all that. So,
that should have been gold because Goldie Hawn was pretty good, and Diane Keaton was actually in some really good stuff, and she was pretty good. But yeah, for the most part, the women buddy comedies don't work.
They don't. Yeah. But Bridesmaid is the massive exception to that rule. That movie still cracks me up.
It's pretty good because it's what. I know Kristen Wiig and I can never remember her name. It's Tammy.
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy, yes. Yep. They are genuinely funny women.
Oh yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's the movie that made Melissa McCarthy right there. That's the one that made her a household name.
Yeah, and Tina Fey was in it, wasn't she?
She wasn't in that she was in Baby Mama, but yeah, she wasn't in any of the Paul Feig movies, so I wonder if you're thinking of like the hot brunette that was in Bridesmaids, and she was also in in Spy.
Brie Larson, right?
What's that?
Was it Brie Larson?
Wasn't Brie? Brie Larson. No, she wasn't in any of those. Yeah, but yeah. Who was it? What's her? God, what's that actress's name? She was also
Rose
in
Byrne.
Troy back in the day.
Rose Byrne. Right? Rose Byrne.
Rose Byrne. That's it. Yeah, Rose Byrne.
Yeah, she was in Insidious and Troy. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. She was in Neighbors with Seth Rogen. So.
Yep. The British wife or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
And yeah, it was Maya Rudolph, not Tina Fey.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Maya Rudolph. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, both part of the downfall of SNL. So they're kind of
right. Exactly. Birds of a feather right there. So yep.
Even though I'll even give what's it called? What's that movie? Mean Girls. I'll even give that credit.
Oh, sure. Yeah. The original one.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll give that some credit because that was a different kind of movie back then. So it was good.
Exactly,
I think I had just graduated at that time, so it was actually kind of topical, and it made sense.
Yeah. 2004, I think, is when that one came out, around that period. Time.
Yep, that's about when I graduated. I graduated 2005, so yeah.
Yep, exactly, right there. And then even Heathers. Remember Heathers from back in the 80s?
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of female-led. I mean, Christian Slater was a big part of it, but yeah, that was kind of a female. I thought that was hilarious. They pulled stuff in that movie you would never be able to pull off in a movie nowadays. So yeah,
God.
Or maybe in 10 years you'll be able to pull it off again. But
you should do that, like shit you can't do today.
The whole episode. Hey, movies that contain not get away with now.
Yeah, literally just Blazing Saddles or anything Mel Brooks.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly.
the only thing you would need.
Right. Yeah. Got to throw Tropic Thunder in there. Got to be like Bustin' Loose. Bustin' Loose would be another one there. So yep.
But Tropic Thunder, such a great movie. Like they did so good on that.
Which one?
Tropic Thunder.
Oh, Tropic Thunder. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, when Ben Stiller was talking about like, well, you could never make that movie nowadays. Like, yeah, you know why? Because all your buddies. It's your buddies. They're the gatekeepers. Yeah. They're the tastemakers, and they're the ones that are saying, "Yeah, you can't have a movie where you have a guy talking about going full retard." It's your buddies that are saying you can't do that. It's not conservative.
It's you, Ben. It's you. You're the problem. It's you.
Yeah. The call is coming from inside the house, Ben.
Yes.
My God.
Game, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. You're part of the problem there. But real quick here, I want to let everybody know that, hey, you know what? All the fun you see us having right now and all the fun I'm sure you're having out there in Movies Merica world, it's all part of a sponsorship that we have here for the show. A great company that is kind enough, is stand-up enough to sponsor this show and other shows on the Till Death Podcast Network. And that sponsor would be one Flip City Magazine. And so you may be asking yourself, hey, what is Flip City Magazine? What is this? What is this you speak of, this good sir? And I shall tell you. So Flip City Magazine is a humor magazine, all right? It's humorous. It's funny. It makes you giggle, all right? So funny, maybe a little pee will come out of you. Perhaps. I don't know. So be careful where you read it. You never know. Don't be reading it in the middle of a job interview, okay? So don't do that. But, hey, a toilet, it's a good place to read some Flip City Magazine. I don't know, maybe waiting for the your court date to begin, something like that. Somewhere you need a little comedy pickup. Flip City will fit the bill right there because they're not worried about preaching to you about how to be woke or all that. They just want to make you laugh and do all of that right there. But don't take it from me. Take it straight from the Flip City source.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
Oh, yeah. All right. So
buddy.
get yourself some Flip City Magazine, everybody, right there. And we're making it very easy for you because all you have to do is click on the Flip City link in the description down below. There you go. Look down towards your nether regions and then look up a little higher. And then you're going to find the link in the description there for Flip City. And as you see, if you put in promo code movies right there, you're going to get 10% off your order of the best non-woke, key 2 words, non-woke comic around right there. Okay, so now they say comic, I consider it more of a magazine that has some comics in there as well. So it's so much more than just a comic there. Whoa, what do we got here? Let me see. Hopefully you can still see.
Anyway, so yeah. Go to flipcity.com and use promo code movies and get your 10% off. And yeah, I've met Kitty before. I've had her on my show. I've talked to her, such as has Van. Everybody else has had her on. She is a great person. They're doing great work over there. They are taking woke out of comedy, woke out of comedy. So give them a follow on there and do all the things.
Do all the things. There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, well, thanks for fitting in. They're in a pinch there, Lindy. Right there. So all of a sudden, I got that. I'm maybe you've gotten it too. All of a sudden, I just got this. Oops! Something happened to the stream.
It's a well-known rumble bug. Right around that one and a half to between 1.5 and 2 hours, you always have to refresh as the host.
Oh.
So
Nice,
I was
nice.
watching. I'm like, it's coming, and I'm like, this is perfect because I love Kitty.
It's a coming.
Yeah, because I love Kitty. I've talked to her many times. Kitty's an amazing person. Flip City Kitty over there on X, I believe it is.
Oh yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, she's good people. Her and her husband, I believe, run the whole thing, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So yeah, I think he does like the illustrations as well. I throw something like that. He does some
I think
artwork.
so. Yeah, I've never talked to the husband, but I've talked to Kitty, and she is awesome people. They're comics. You can just look them up. Like just that little commercial you played there is that's enough to buy it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. And there's just something nice like the Flip City right here.
Yeah.
About having it in your hand and just gotta hold it in your hand and you have something you can flip through and all that stuff right here instead of just going through a website or an app on your phone because that gets old, right? It's old.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to have something tangible, and so Flip City Magazine will provide that tangible experience. Like back in the day, like pretend it's 1993, and you don't have no damn Yahoo app on your phone. Why, back in my day, we didn't even know what a Yahoo app was. All right, if we wanted a Yahoo, we had to walk up 3 miles of snow, and we loved it. How we liked it.
And get our chocolate water.
Chocolate water.
But no, they do have the digital version too, if that's what you guys are into. I mean, it's not as cool because like if you're older, a little bit older, like me and Van, where we did not grow up with smartphones and all that shit.
Right.
We actually liked having newspapers in our hands so we could read it and look through. And same thing with magazines. You feel it, you can see it.
Yeah.
It's something different. So it's like the old how it goes now when you have to tell people to go touch grass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. Get physical media in your hands, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Or like if you're Lindy and I's age, like go chug pond water, because that's what I did when I was a kid. Like, you go out to a pond or a creek, and you go out there and you're grabbing the biggest stick that you can find on the ground. You're beating the living crap out of your best buddy, and then you're like, man, I'm thirsty. Hey, there's a creek over there. There's a stream over there. Go over there and drop to the ground and just like, boop, 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 and that's probably why I I never got COVID, probably because I've got so much immunity.
Well, the same thing, like they say, like drinking straight from the hose, the garden hose. They say don't do that anymore. Yep. It's like, that's how we lived, man. That's how we survived. We were not allowed in the house.
Yeah,
exactly. If you needed water, so you just went to a random spigot and you opened it up and drank it. The neighbors didn't
drink
care.
it.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit. They're like, it's just a kid drinking water, and that's why we had to have that commercial. Remember that one? It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Oh, right, yeah. Exactly. There you go. Yeah, because parents would be like, don't come home until the streetlights come on.
Yeah, and depending on the time of the year.
Right, yeah, exactly. Middle of July, yeah, those streetlights might not come on until 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and that's why you literally had a commercial for the parents. Do you know where your kids are? And they'd be like, oh, shit, I don't. Let me go turn on the porch light to tell them to get home.
Exactly. Like, oh, my God, does Joe Biden have them? Oh, my God. They should have added that to the commercial. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know your kids aren't with Joe Biden right now?
Maybe I'll try to work. Maybe I'll try to work that in on one of mine.
You got to do that right now. Yeah, some good old retro commercials that need some updating.
Yeah, and then just like, was Joe Biden around your children lately? Your class action lawsuit.
Exactly.
Call 10321. Call 10321 for your long distance calls.
Right. Exactly. Call them up right now. You see that they're at my house right now. Here. All right. Well, hey, I don't know how to segue from that to the movie Military Moment. We're going to do it here. And so the movie Military Moment, that is my favorite session or section or segment of every Movies Merica spoiler warning episode there. And what that is that's when I give myself a few minutes to pay tribute to a fine military man or woman that has been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And so the reason I call it the movie Military Moment is because, as you would imagine, in order to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, whatever you did, it has to be something like a moment that if you saw it live or up on a big movie screen or something like that, you'd be like, oh my God, wowie zowie, holy shit, what am I seeing here? He just took out all those Japs with that BAR. Oh, that guy just landed that chopper in Vietnam in that hot LZ under heavy fire from the VC and saved all those people and gave them all the supplies and risking life and limb. Holy shit. Wow, what am I watching? It would be a very cool movie military moment right there. And so, the best. Exactly right there. So to that end, let's check out, every great segment's got to have a great intro. So let's get this done. Ooh, feel that patriotism flowing through your veins. There you go. Yes, I got red, white, and blue coming out my eyeballs right now. Absolutely. So, and our proud honoree for this movie Military Moment is one First Lieutenant Turney White Leonard, who fought for us in World War II. And we should find out more about First Lieutenant Turney here, if I can get my mouse to work correctly. My God, I hate this mouse. I got one of those big-ass mouses with the wheel on it. That I actually knock over. Yeah, I got one that's like taller than that, and I wish it wasn't so tall because I'm always knocking it off my damn desk accidentally and stuff, and it sucks using it with a Mac Mini. There you go. But we're gonna try to make do, everybody, as I bitch and whine like a little girl over here. But I think that First Lieutenant Attorney White Leonard, I believe he does deserve his own movie military moment music. And we're going to see if this music drowns me out. Okay, I had made a little adjustment, and hopefully it doesn't drown me out here. But we will see. And I'm sure Lindy and anybody in the live chat will let me know. Hey, Van, I can't hear you over that music. So let's go. Let's do it. This is the movie Military Moment. And in this movie Military Moment, we pay tribute to one First Lieutenant Cherney White Leonard, who fought for you, who fought for me in World War II. And let's find out more about the good First Lieutenant. He displayed extraordinary heroism while commanding a platoon of mobile weapons at Kammerscheit, Germany on 4, 5, and 6 November 1944. During the first fierce three-day engagement, he repeatedly braved overwhelming enemy fire in advance of his platoon to direct the fire of his tank destroyer from exposed, dismounted positions. He went on lone reconnaissance missions to discover what opposition his men faced, and on one occasion, when fired upon by a hostile machine gun, advanced alone and eliminated the enemy emplacement with a hand grenade. When a strong German attack threatened to overrun friendly positions, he moved through withering artillery, mortar, and small arms fire, reorganized confused infantry units whose leaders had become casualties, and exhorted them to hold firm. Although wounded early in battle, he continued to direct fire from his advanced position until he was disabled by a high explosive shell which shattered his arm, forcing him to withdraw. He was last seen at a medical aid station, which was subsequently captured by the enemy. By his superb courage, inspiring leadership, and indomitable fighting spirit, First Lieutenant Leonard enabled our forces to hold off the enemy attack and was personally responsible for the direction of fire, which destroyed 6 German tanks. And we salute you, First Lieutenant Cherney White Leonard, in this movie Military Moment. And that has been, and that concludes our movie Military Moment for this episode of the Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. There we go. So hopefully that sounded okay. Could you hear me okay, Lindy? Oh, I think are you muted?
I couldn't, because that's an issue internally with Rumble and whatnot. That
okay, yeah.
I cannot hear a lot of the stuff that happens. I can hear the voices. I can't hear the sounds.
Okay, so you couldn't hear me very well over that music.
I heard you talking.
Okay.
But I couldn't hear the music. So
okay.
I don't know.
Maybe I have it too low now.
No, that's a Rumble thing. It's all on them.
Okay.
Is like I cannot hear, like, if there's music happening in a clip you play, I can't hear that. I can just hear the actual voices happening.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's there. Well, it might be my computer, I guess, because it even happened with StreamYard, so I don't know. But I got to hear everything you said.
Yeah, that's the most important thing right there. You bet.
Yes, absolutely, and yes. That's one of my favorite things that you do is the movie's Military Moment when you give honor to a Congressional Medal of Honor winner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can't help but do it. I mean, I think there's just something that a part of me that compels me to want to do it, because I mean, I'm ex-military, and so I want to. I'm very patriotic. I was patriotic before I was in the military, but it just really turbo boosted my patriotism. Being in the military, and so and I'm just amazed. I'm awed by the things that these men did to get the Congressional Medal of Honor. I read this stuff and I'm like, oh, these guys deserve as much recognition as we can give them, much more than some worthless NBA player or some baseball player or something like that, or some stupid ass influencer on TikTok. This guy, First Lieutenant Leonard right here, he deserves his own TikTok channel. I'm sure he's long dead, but hey, these are the people that deserve our attention, deserve our praise. And so I just want to do my small little part to contribute to that endeavor right there.
And it is one of my favorite parts because I love hearing these stories, and I love seeing some of the stories. Like it is Fat Electrician. I'm sure you know who he is.
Which one? Oh, Fat Electrician. Yeah. He's sometimes on
Yes,
with
where
Herrera.
well, he does on his own channel. He does a lot of it. He gets a lot of stuff like information. So that's like he dedicates an entire episode to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I still
basically,
want to
like
get with the Brandon Herrera and Donut Operator and
yeah,
those guys. But yeah, like you said, he's got his
yeah,
own thing too. So yep.
but yeah. No, it's great, and every story like however it's told, they need to be told because it has to happen.
Oh yeah, yep.
I wish everybody knew about the site. What is it? moah.org or something like
Yeah.
that?
So yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was going to turn everybody onto that. So it's CMOHS.org. So CMOH, so Congressional Medal of Honor. That's what that stands for. So
Yeah.
it's CMOHS.org. And then, yeah, you'll be able to see all the citations like the one that I read right there. And it's fascinating. And then, yeah, like you said, they have like there's occasionally there's a movie that comes out where you do get to see a cinematic representation of what some of these guys did, like Bruce Crandall. He's a Vietnam helicopter pilot that won who received the Congressional Medal of Honor, and you see some of his story in the movie We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson.
Yeah, where he's like,
He's played
we're
by
going back in no matter what. We're going back in, man. We got
yeah,
it.
we're going back
We're
in.
going.
Yep, exactly. He was like,
Yeah.
because he got in trouble with his commanding officer. He's like, I told you to turn back, and who's Greg Kinnear is who plays Bruce Crandall. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's great at We Were Soldiers.
He's Greg Kinnear is one of my favorite actors. Him and I can never remember his name, but he got like blacklisted from Hollywood. It's the white-haired guy. He always plays a villain.
The white-haired guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you talk about oh God, yeah, he was in a Minority Report and Neil McDonough. Is it Neil McDonough? Because he's the guy that he got blacklisted because he's a conservative guy.
Yes, Neil McDonough. He's an amazing actor. Yeah, he's been blacklisted basically.
Yeah, he was.
And I see he's doing a lot of Band of Brothers, greatest. And I mean, you can hate Tom Hanks all you want for all his shit, but Band of Brothers was the greatest thing laid on the American people.
Oh yeah, yep, exactly.
And the Pacific, don't sleep on the Pacific.
Pacific's good too.
It was done basically the same way, but I mean, they had to compete with Band of Brothers, so it's
Band of Brothers set the bar really, really high. I would put the Pacific right up there with Band of Brothers. It's just the Pacific theater is just not known as well as the European theater.
Yeah, and Apple actually did a really good one with the Air Force.
Oh yeah, the Masters of the Air.
Yeah,
that one was good.
I couldn't believe that they did such a good historical representation on that one. I was like, wow,
Austin Butler was in that one. And then there's that one is really good because it really spelled out like how deadly their missions were. I mean, all episodes were like, oh my God, that guy died. It was like Game of Thrones. We're like, that guy died, and this guy died, and that guy died. Holy crap! No one's safe in this show right there. And it has a very rousing last episode right there when so Masters of the Air is good. The Pacific is good. The Pacific, when and this is not a spoiler because everyone knows John Bassilone's story, but when he dies in one of the last episodes of the Pacific and Iwo Jima, and then his wife goes to John Bassilone's parents' house after he died. Oh my God. That scene will have you tearing up so hard because they show John Bassilone's family and they're just devastated. Because his son had it made. His son was like, he got the Congressional Medal of Honor for heroism on Guadalcanal, and then the Marines just wanted him to go around and sell war bonds. And he was a celebrity. He was like, he didn't have to go fight in any war ever again. And being the man of honor that he
That.
was, he wanted to go back and he wanted to train Marines, and he ended up in Iwo Jima and dying.
Yep.
So his parents were like, "My God, we could have had our son if he would have just stayed here stateside." But no.
And those are the people you want in the military.
Yep.
Not the ones that are going to sit. Well, I mean, nowadays you probably don't get that choice, because the big green weenie is going to get you either way.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
But
pretty
yeah,
much.
no, like those guys back then, yeah, like they're like, oh yeah, you want me to do this? No, I'm just going to fly myself over and just jump into whatever unit's there.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
you can't do that now, but
Oh,
you
right,
could
right,
then.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to like Pete Hegseth as the Secretary of Defense, like kind of just turning the military and just maybe reviving some old traditions of the past, some oldies but goodie, traditions from the past and that kind of thing, and providing a better environment for our war fighters and making the military the military again instead of some propaganda team that happens to wear combat boots or Johnny Cash's or whatever. So
yeah, you just have basically your most diverse group of people being they're a tier 1 operator, because they have 3 women of color.
Exactly. Yeah, that should never have been because Lindy, you were in the military, weren't you?
Nope.
Okay, yeah, I always got that aura about you. I thought maybe you were right there, but yeah, one thing in the military is, and I'm sure you've heard this from a lot of people, no one cared about color or race or ethnicity, especially not when you were in basic training. You did not give a fuck about any of that stuff, especially when you're in basic training. And I know I was in the Air Force, and basic training in the Air Force isn't as bad as the Marines and whatnot. But Air Force basic training wasn't exactly like a trip to to Chuck E. Cheese either. So it had a smidge of difficulty to it. So it got difficult enough. It was a pain in the ass enough to where you're like, I don't care if that guy's black. I don't care if that guy's Hispanic. I don't care if that guy's Asian. I don't care. All right. I just want to get the fuck out of here. And everyone was judged off of merit, off of meritocracy, how good you were and how much you contributed to the flight, to the element, to the squadron, all that stuff. So, and that's what I want the military to return to. I don't want there to be quotas and check boxes that have to be checked. So,
right. Yeah, no,
I know.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. Like we want our military to be the best of the best. Weird. So dumb. And back in my day, it was right after 2001. So, the military, they were paying very great to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in MEPS, I failed the duck walk. The famous duck walk. Yes, they found something wrong in my ankle during the duck walk. And the Navy doctor didn't like it, so I couldn't proceed with that much. I got to do all the other tests, though, which was weird.
Huh.
They let me go through the entire thing, even though they failed me at the duck walk.
Wow.
But they let me proceed with all the tests.
Interesting. Yeah. I thought it was weird, talking about MEPS right there. I thought it was weird that when you go there, of course, there's some kind of physical fitness test there that you have to do, like some test of strength.
Yep.
And one of them is it's just a basic chest press. You just sit on the stool and you do a little chest press up there. And they have, at least when I was at the MEPS in Iowa, on the plates or on the stacks there, they had like the emblems. They had like a sticker for the Air Force, a sticker for the Marines, Army, Navy, and the sticker for the Air Force was on the highest weight, so further down on the stacks there. And I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't the Marines be at the bottom? We have to lift the most weight to be in the Marines, and then the lightest weight would be what you have to lift to get in the Air Force. But they had it inverted. They had it switched around. I just thought I always thought it was kind of funny. Like, weird. Okay,
they were inverted.
Yeah, we're inverted. Bullshit.
But no, yeah, I went through all that. When I went in, I had to retake my ASVAB when I was at MEPS, so that was really fun. So it added like 2 hours to the whole thing.
Sure.
then I went through and I did the duck walk that you're
Yep.
supposed to, but then towards the end I had to do the arms test,
Hmm.
which is if you don't make tape, because I'm a bigger dude. Like I'm a like physically a big dude. Like
Right.
I have some wide ass shoulders.
Hmm.
So I had to do the tapes test, and it wasn't quite there. So I had to do the arms test, which is just step ups and then push ups.
Oh,
Not a problem. It was nothing. But
sure.
then after I did it, they're like, "Yeah, during the duck walk, we saw this deformation in your ankle. Um, that's gonna disqualify." I'm like, "Why the fuck did you say that right away?"
Right. Yeah. Before it made me go through all this crap. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it was like a year and a half to 2 years later, I get called by my recruiter. They're like, "There's actually a waiver for that now. It's not a big deal." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
past that fantasy, brother. Like I'm getting a little too old. I'm like 22 now. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Like
I'm an
I'm
old
past
man.
my
22.
yeah.
I'm any day
Past my
now. I'm
mili-
gonna have to add oxygen tank and then a walker.
But past your military prime, I'm like I'm like 22, man. I've like started getting into my actual life that I'm living now.
Sure.
I met my wife back then and all that stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to join now. I wanted to join because I was aimless, like most people did.
Sure. Yep.
I was aimless after high school. I did some college. I dropped out, and I was like, I'm just going to go into the military
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
because I had
Yeah.
some great friends, some amazing friends, and unfortunately, one of them did become one of the statistics.
Oh man.
But he was one of the first in Iraq. He was he was in on the very first wave of the GWAT.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. It took too many lives right there. So it's
it
yeah.
did.
It's I mean I remember I helped make this film some footage for this documentary about 22 Kill, which is a charity that helps raise money for the average of 22 veterans a day that take
Yep.
their own lives
Yep.
there. And some of the stories they hit you right in the gut there.
Yep.
And I think one of the cool things about that charity, 22 Kills, the name of it again, is I don't know if you remember in American Sniper with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Towards the
Yeah.
end, they showed Bradley Cooper. There he's shooting out in the forest with those couple of disabled veterans, and
Yep.
the one that was missing his legs and sitting in a chair and whatnot. His name is Jacob Schick, and he was one of the founders of this 22 Killer. He's
Oh.
high up in the ranks of whoever runs this 22 Kill there, and then it was surreal hearing him tell me his story, kind of like how he was explaining it to Bradley Cooper playing Chris Kyle in American Sniper right there. But yeah, it's unfortunately, yeah, it's just, I wish there's some way, some magic potion or some magic pill or something like that to keep these guys from taking their own lives. Because you can tell them all day, until you're blue in the face, man, we're here for you, man. We're here for you. Like,
Yep.
if you ever get low, man, and you're going to get low, call me up or come on
Yep.
over. Or,
Yep.
there's always somebody else who can help and that maybe has it worse than you. And you can feel
Yep.
like you're contributing again and that kind of thing. So, but they just,
Yeah.
there's a myriad of factors
Unfortunately,
that contributed to that.
yeah. Unfortunately, what some of those guys had to do and what they did over there, it was just too much to bear, and I understand that. And it's
Oh,
just,
you bet.
it's just like, please, man, like literally a call away. That's
Yep.
all it is. But
Exactly.
and honestly, if going back to your movie stuff, SEAL Team with David Boreanaz did
Oh,
a
sure, yeah.
very good job with that.
Okay.
They did a great job. They don't get to it till later in the series, but they did a great job, like acknowledging all this and
Mm.
like showing they actually have like the veteran suicide hotline playing before their shows all
Good.
the time now. But it was a
Excellent.
great one, and like, yeah, like I said, one of my best friends in the world, unfortunately, was one of them,
Yeah.
and it was 14 Jesus. Is it 14 years ago? 13 years ago?
Yeah.
It was over 10 years ago. God damn,
Still hits
that's a long time. Yeah, it still
Yeah.
hits me because
I could tell it's still hitting you, man.
every year on his birthday and the day he died.
Mm.
Those
Yeah.
days always get me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he's a good one. He's a good one. You don't want to lose. I mean, you don't lose anybody, but you definitely don't want to lose the good ones. There. So, and it's almost like it's an injustice because goes over there, he does something great for his country, and this is how fate rewards him. Right there. So it's it sucks.
Yep. And back then I would have blamed the failure of the VA. But they've gotten way better. The VA has gotten way better, and I'm my old man. I just want to beat the shit out of him to get him to go to the VA to help him with some of his shit.
Yeah, right.
Because he's right now he's dealing with cancer and whatnot, and I'm like, dude, just go to the VA. Quit paying this shit out of pocket. They'll help you.
Right. Yeah.
It was changed. Like they're gonna help you, man. He's like,
yeah.
No, and he keeps saying his service was bullshit. I'm like, no, you did your contract time.
Yeah.
So you're entitled to this because, he was in peacetime. But he's like, my whole service was serving, he was in Germany. He was a MP on a missile base. He's like, my whole service was getting drunk in Germany, so I don't think it's worth any taxpayer money. I'm like, no. I'm like, no, fuck you, old man.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you served.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you serve, whether it's peacetime or wartime, you deserve every benefit that you were promised from your stupid ass recruiter that lied his teeth out to you for.
Sure. Because you're giving up all your rights. I mean, that's one of the first things they tell you is like you have no rights. You go in the military, you have no rights. You're pretty much just like a guinea pig for whatever they want to do to you. I mean, it's in their best interest to keep you healthy. Because now they've invested so much money in you. You're government property, and that's exactly what they keep telling you. Is like, you're not a human being. You're government property. So you serve. If you're in, even if you're just doing shots in Germany or whatever, you still served. You were still government property. You still did a lot more than a lot of people that don't even bother to try to go in.
90% of the country that will not even fucking think about it, even though we're in dire need of young men and women in our military that actually have a right mindset.
Sure.
And maybe we could change their mind if they join the military.
Yeah. I'd love there to be a mandatory service like there is in Israel or someplace like that.
I've mentioned that too. I'm like, I would gladly give universal health care and education if we do that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You graduate high school, straight to the military.
Yep.
You do your 2 years, and then you can either continue on with your service or you get back to the civilian world. Either way, you're gonna learn a job or a trade, whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if we did that, I would happily be like, yep, universal healthcare and universal education. I'm fine with it.
Yep, exactly. Right there, yeah, because I mean, it would save a lot of lives, and it also would straighten a lot of lives out.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have near as many entitled, snotty-nosed, narcissists out there.
Yep.
Because they would get shipped into shape real quick and basic, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep. They absolutely would.
You bet.
So yeah, that's my solution to almost half the world's problems right there.
Yep, exactly. And we were talking about 22 kill there and suicide and all that stuff right there, and so in light of that, what I'm going to do here is for the next part that I'm going to remind everybody about hey, if you want to, if you are so inclined, you want to throw some money my way here, if you're appreciating what Lindy and I are doing enough, you can do that. You can throw $1 or $2 or $3 my way. And any money I get tonight, I'm going to donate that to 22 Kill. It's not going in my pocket. It's going to go towards 22 Kill to help with, supporting our veterans and trying to prevent others from, deleting themselves, taking themselves out there and providing them with comfort, counseling, whatever they need. Just an ear to listen to their troubles and that kind of thing. And so for every all the money that I get tonight, I'm gonna give that to 22 Kill. And so if you're checking me out on Rumble, the way to throw a buck or two my way for 22 Kill for this episode is to do what's called a Rumble rant. And so the way you do that in Rumble is down by where you type in your live chat message. There's a button with a $sign on it. You just got to click on that. It'll just ask you how much you want to donate. If you haven't donated before, it might ask you like, hey, probably ask you what bank account you have and all that stuff. Yeah. But you only have to do that one time. And then after that, it'll just ask you how much you want to donate. Very easy. Now, if you're checking me out on the Tube of Views, or more commonly known as YouTube, Trevor, then they call that a super chat. Super chat is the vehicle in which you can donate some money. And so that works very similarly to the way it does in Rumble. Down by where you type in your live chat, click on the button with the dollar bill on it, and it'll ask you how much you want to donate. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Very easy peasy lemon squeezy. And that money is going to go to 22 Kill to help out with veterans there. So always a good idea.
And not only that, but if you're going to donate to that, I will match all the funds. I will personally match it.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a stand-up thing for you to do there, good sir. Absolutely. Right there. Because, we don't realize how good we have it sometimes. We're fortunate that we don't have their troubles. And so I think that it's just at the least we could do is throw, every dollar helps. Obviously, I wish I could back up an armored truck to 22 Kill headquarters, and there you go. I wish I could back up an 18-wheeler with a bunch of pallets of cash, but you know what? Hey, it's still the same sentiment, whether it's an 18-wheeler full of cash or it's a buck or two. So your heart is in the same place.
So anybody that wants to give, I just know I will match any donation to 22 Kill if you do it during Van Stream here. I will absolutely do it because I believe in this so much that it's hit me personally in my life. So I know what is going on with it. So yes, please donate, give the money. I will match it. I have a very, well, not very, but a fortunate enough life to be able to do that.
Right.
So
exactly.
So give the money.
Money. You're doing that, man. I'll tell you, stand up there of you and whatnot. And unfortunately, it's that's all been made too real for you in your life. And and so stand up gesture right there. I appreciate that. So all right, so now we're gonna move into a little lighter of a segment here. And so we were talking about John Wick about 7 hours ago, and
right.
And so us being dudes, we would naturally think of things like this, of the subject of our next segment here. And as dudes, we think of things like, John Wick is a badass, but how would he do against this action hero? And that action hero, and that guy, or whatever. You're like, how would he stand up against Jason Bourne or somebody like that? So, and that's what our next segment's going to be.
Before we get to that, I don't know if you have a stinger, but I have to piss before we get to that.
Do your thing. No, I can keep everyone.
I have done my homework on that.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Take care of that right there. I've got plenty to talk about, so you bet. But yeah, so I mean, it's fascinating because we've got John Wick, but we had plenty of other action hero franchises well before Keanu Reeves, got suited and booted to play John Wick back in 2014, and especially in the 80s, right? Remember the 80s? You had your big players as far as action heroes go in the 80s. You had your Schwarzeneggers, your Stallones. Even had Van Damme and Seagal and there, Charlie Bronson, and then you would get some lesser known names tried their hand at like Dolph Lundgren, try to capitalize off his Rocky IV Drago success, and did try to do some action movies. Hell, even Patrick Swayze's brother, remember Don Swayze? Try to do some straight to video action movies and that kind of thing. So, but that will be the last mention of Don Swayze in this episode of Movies America. Spoiler warning right there. But yeah, I've always wondered, how would, John Wick, we know he's adept at firearms. He likes his Glock 26s and his Glock 34s and his CA 15s. And, he's got his Heckler and Cooks and his Benelli M9 shotguns and all these firearms. And he could work with nunchucks and stick fighting. Hell, even kick people's asses with a horse. And John Wick 3, I believe, is when that took place. So how would John Wick, hold up against some of these other action heroes there? So these are the highly intellectual exercises that I like to take part in my show right there. And hey, LindyRigg 87, $50 for the vets right there. So and there you go, man.
Figured I'd start it off. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. So the gauntlet has been dropped, everybody. All right, so it's time to top that there with the Rumble rant because it's easy for us to live in our cushy environs right now and live the good life, but there's some people out there they're hurting and they need our help. And if all we have to do is bust out our credit card or whatever, that's the least we can do. Very easy for us. A lot easier than the lives they're having to live.
Yes, it's so much easier. Like a lot of them are suffering so bad, just mentally, because of what they had to do in even just like you go back to Vietnam, they had to do some terrible shit. But you come down to even the global war on terror, the shit that they had. I wish they would let me read my buddy's paper that he wrote. He wrote a scholastic paper about it.
Wow.
Like he called it his first kill is what actually drove him over the edge. And the only specific I know is it was I can't remember if it was Afghanistan or Iraq, but he said it was a child. So I'm not quite sure the age, neither is he, but they jumped on the back of the Humvee as they were doing a convoy and he had to stab him.
Wow.
To get him off the Humvee that they were in, and that was his first kill. He had a few others, but that one stuck with him the most because it was he mentioned that he looked, he envisioned this person as a child, and it was probably 15 years later. No, probably not 15. Maybe it was 15. Jesus. Years later that he ended up paying the ultimate sacrifice.
Sure.
Because he had his own children and, he was married. He was living a happy life, but I imagine that stuff comes back to you.
Yeah, right.
And so anything for vets, guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's one of those sad things. Like no amount of technology could fix. Yeah. Like if we had someone smart enough, if we had a Elon Musk type character or something like that could come up with like the perfect thing to say to these guys to maybe help them get over it or something like that. But we don't have that. I don't think we'll probably ever have that. The heart of a man, the heart of a woman, it's a complicated place. There's just some places you hope people can come back from, but perhaps the ultimate answer in the universe is you can't come back from it. So, and I hate saying that, but
ultimately, I believe it's the killing. Mm-hmm. Because nobody with a soul can come back from killing another human.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
No matter if they're the enemy or not. Like, I understand if you're being attacked, I could see that, maybe, but it's still going to weigh on you a lot.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Taking another life is next level. I'm fortunate to have never had to do it.
Sure.
And I pray to God every fucking day that it doesn't happen, but if it does, I hope I can be okay with it because it would be for my or my family's safety. Unfortunately, a lot of these guys had to do it in foreign countries, and they they didn't see it as being like for their family's direct safety.
Sure, right, exactly, yeah, right. Yeah, they couldn't put I'm directly defending my family by killing this guy because my wife and kids are standing right over there.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
Yep.
situation like that.
No, they were thousands
Yeah,
of miles away, an ocean away, and they
right.
were killing people
Yeah,
because they were told to, and
right.
so
And I don't know if they
but
train people like if if you do end up having to take people's lives, excuse me, if you end up having to take people's lives, like here's how you keep yourself from thinking about that person as a kid or that they have a wife,
yeah,
or that they have a family, like here's how you. This is an exercise you could do to keep. There's no way there could be an exercise like you're going to think what you
no.
think, right?
And the offloading of veterans coming back from the wars is just absolutely ridiculous.
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
need to change that. Oh, how do we get them back to civilian? It's like maybe just check with them a little bit.
yeah.
Like don't have the set script that you say. Like maybe be a little more personable.
Yeah, be transactional, personalize it to each person.
Yeah.
There,
Yep.
don't make it so clinical and cold and
Yeah.
all that. Like you're trying to meet a quota for the month because I'm sure, yeah, soldiers, sailors, airmen, they could tell that they could tell like, oh, I'm just a number that you have to check
Yeah.
off. I'm just a
Yeah.
name on a clipboard, and like
Yep.
you need more personal care, personal treatment, that kind of thing. A great example of that is if they could act like Robin Williams did in Good Will Hunting. Remember how he interacted with Will Hunting
Yeah.
in
Yep.
that, and you go like you're watching a movie like this guy, this Sean character, that's Robin Williams' character in that name. He really cares about Will. Like Will's over here telling him off, basically talking shit about his wife, his dead wife,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And instead of Sean giving up on Will, he strives forward. He's like, "Hey, Will, you know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
most people would say, go fuck yourself. I'm not bothering to help you out, but you know what? I'm gonna take you under my wing. I'm gonna mentor you. I'm gonna show you that it's not your fault." Literally he says that over and over again towards the end
Yeah.
of the movie. And so I wish that veterans could get that kind of personalized care
Yeah.
from people
Yeah.
right there. But you have to have enough people that give a shit, and
Yes.
don't want to
And
just deal with their own stuff. So
yep. And we're nowhere near that. I mean, we got some great people that are working towards that, but I don't see it happening for many years, if at all.
yeah.
Because enough people are like, whoa, well, now we have all these generations that don't even remember. They weren't even born when 9/11 happened.
Oh right, yeah.
So
Yep.
they don't give a shit.
Nope.
Or even like my youngest sibling, she was born before, but she doesn't remember 9/11. I was like, that was like a fucking monumental shift
Oh yeah.
in my life.
Yeah.
Like most people.
Oh
It
yeah.
was a monumental shift.
Yeah.
And to hear people say like they don't remember or they weren't born yet is like, the fuck?
Right, right, exactly. That was so huge. I mean, it was like
It was.
you went from like normal life to
Yeah.
suddenly like you turn on the TV. Doesn't matter if you turn it on at 9 a.m., 9
Yep.
p.m., 3 a.m., every channel, what was on for months, 9/11 coverage. Months.
Yep.
New TV shows didn't play. You didn't have new
Yep.
episodes of TV.
No,
It was just like on network TV, it was just like 24/7, 7 days a week.
Yep.
Just 9/11 coverage all the time for I say months, maybe it was like 3 or 4 months. I don't know. It just seems like it was forever. Like it was, and not that I wanted to get away from it, but
Yeah.
it really drove home the point how big 9/11 was. It was such a massive event in our
And
country there.
and remember the 12th when everybody was the most patriotic person you ever met?
Oh yeah, right. Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I
I
remember
wish
that.
we could get back to that in our country. November 12th. Like, and I've seen a lot of merch out there like 9/12. It's like, yes,
Sure.
that was the best time in our entire country. That was
Yeah,
the most
exactly. Yeah, I
amazing
remember
time.
like George W. Bush. He's throwing out the pitch at the Yankees game a few days afterwards.
Yep.
Had Republicans and Democrats alike standing on the steps, the
Yep.
Capitol all holding hands and singing Kumbaya, and
Pretty
everyone's
much,
coming
yeah.
together, and that lasted well as far as Congress goes, that lasted for about 5 minutes, but
Yeah. Because I believe it was later that year when that sniper decided to start taking out softball players.
oh yeah, yeah, it was like it wasn't long. Yeah, there was a Bernie bro was coming after Republicans at the
Yeah.
baseball game. So yeah, almost killed Steve Scalise right there. That was a
Yeah.
number of years later on than that. But yeah, it's like I think it wasn't long after 9/11 that DC sniper started happening. Remember the DC sniper?
Oh,
Where it was like
yes.
a kid. It was like a dad and his son. And
Yep.
they're going around just sniping people around DC. So
Just random freeway drivers. Yeah. That
Yep.
was fucking disgusting.
Oh yeah, yep. I remember. And then they had the anthrax attack. That was
Yeah.
thing, like happened like not long after 9/11, and so
Yeah. You remember any part of mail you got, you're like, all right, you're looking at it, you're like, all right, is this all right, there's nothing in there.
Oh, yeah, right,
we're
yeah.
good. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. But 9/11 was massive. I remember like I just couldn't take my eyes off the TV. You didn't want to because it was just you're like, am I seeing what I'm seeing on this TV screen?
Yeah.
Like because they kept on showing different viewpoints and vantage points of like the planes hitting the
Yep.
Twin Towers, and
Yep.
that's what got the most coverage because that was like the most like amazing in a terrible tragic
Yep.
way. But I use the
Yep.
word amazing, but that's what got most headlines because the Pentagon there wasn't that much video footage of it, and then the Flight 93, United 93, there
Yeah.
wasn't much footage because that happened and there was no video footage of that except for the aftermath, in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
But it was
Yep.
it was captivating in a tragic way watching the footage of the
Yep.
Twin Towers and they'd show like people jumping to their deaths and then you
Yeah,
hear
because
morbid
we
stories
also
like people would be on the ground at 9/11 and bodies would like just drop on the ground in front of them. So
the world stopped at that point.
yeah, yep,
The
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
the world literally stopped and everything was on that point. Everybody was watching it.
Yep.
It didn't matter where you were. It
Mhm.
was on the TV. Even if you didn't have a TV, somebody brought one to you for fuck's sakes.
Oh, sure, yeah, exactly.
And you were watching it. Like, I
Yeah,
remember I was in high school. It came over the loudspeaker. We just went into the nearest classroom because that's where the TVs were.
right.
Because that's how it used to be. The big tube TVs.
Yeah, right. Yep, exactly. A big old cathode ray tube TV.
Yeah.
TVs there,
So
yeah.
you got like drug into that classroom and you watched the entire thing for that whole day.
Yeah, yeah. I envy
And
you there in a way because that happened on a Tuesday, and
yeah.
it all started on a Tuesday morning, and I was a copier repairman of all things then, and so
Oh,
we had to business had to proceed as normal. I had calls
yeah.
coming in. I had my pager at the time. My pager going off, going, we need our copier fixed at this location and that location, and so when the 9/11 first happened, when the first plane hit, I can't remember the South Tower, the North Tower, whatever what it was. That happened like as me and my fellow technicians were in the back of our office where we had all our toolboxes and stuff and our soldering irons and all that stuff. And it came over the radio. And I remember like one of my coworkers like, oh man, a plane hit one of the World Trade Center towers right there. And we were all thinking, like a lot of people thought, like, oh, probably some stupid Cessna.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, rookie pilot probably
100%.
hit this. What dumbass would hit the World Trade Center?
Yep.
And it like
I was like,
maybe was it?
fucking retard.
Yeah, dumbass retard. Can't even fly a Cessna the right way, flying into the Twin
Yep.
Towers. And then like a number of minutes later on, then the second plane hit, and
Yep.
that's when all of us were like looking at each other.
Like,
Shit.
damn.
Yeah,
This is on purpose.
yeah. This is part of a
Son of a
plan. This is a this is all part of a nefarious plan here, and right when we were realizing it, you were realizing it. The whole world was realizing what was happening.
Yeah.
And in that moment, the world changed. And I remember, so shortly after the second plane hit, I had to leave the office to go to my first call to fix their copier, and it sucked because that happened just like clockwork, as you would expect. It turned out to be one of the busiest days I had a string of quiet days before that and a string of quiet days after that. But that day turned out to be the one busy ass day. So I would go to location after location around the town that I was working in at that time. And every single time I went to the office, there was no one around the copier to tell me what was happening because they were all huddled up in some room in the office watching the TV, watching what was happening on 9/11. So I didn't get to I didn't get to see what was happening on TV. I didn't get to see a visual representation of what was happening on 9/11 until I got home that night at 6:00, hours after this all started there. But I had to all day long going from location to location, fixing copiers, and then every once in a while I'd hear an audible group gasp from the room that people were watching. Oh my God! Somebody dropping from the building! Oh, like I'm hearing that from the room, and I'm like, God, wow, what's going on? The whole day I couldn't watch the footage, and it was driving me fucking crazy and whatnot. And then, when I finally did get home, after a busy long ass day, and then I my eyes were able to see the devastation and just the apocalyptic nature of it.
Yeah,
it was nuts. Yeah, it, like you said, it changed the world, man.
It did. It changed the world. And speaking of world changers, what is it? John Wick was a world changer. It changed the world of movies for everybody.
Nice segue there, man. I love it.
Yeah,
guys.
you like that?
Changing the world, changing the way that action movies were filmed and made and all that stuff right there. And so to that end,
be made.
To that end right there. So let's get into some John Wick versus over here. So I'm going to do this. And we've got visual representation to go along with this right here. So let's get that up there and tantalize everybody. There we go. And let's do this presentation. There we go. All right. So you seeing that all right? You seeing that okay, Lindy?
Yep. See it perfectly. It's John Wick all day.
John Wick. Yeah. John Wick versus Martin Riggs. So your vote is going to John Wick?
Well, I mean, yes, but Riggs, he is special forces.
Yeah.
But John Wick is something beyond that because they did not teach that stuff in special forces.
Right.
John Wick is beyond that. So, unfortunately, Riggs is one of my favorite movie characters of all times, but John Wick beats him all day, every day.
Oh yeah, yeah. I agree. I went with John Wick taking the trophy here because I think he just knows more weapons. And he was taught fighting skills. I mean, so was Martin Riggs. He was taught, in the military. Maybe he got some fighting training outside of the military too. He was part of, Shadow Company in Vietnam and that kind of thing. And but John Wick, he was taught fighting skills with no limits whatsoever. There was no limits put on his fighting skills when John Wick was learning, because he was trained by what they call it the Roma Ruska, which is like the Russian mob. He was taught by if you look up John Wick lore, he was trained by the director who we met in John Wick 3, and so they would have taught him fighting skills with no limits, like the fighting skills you would learn in the military has limits there. And so Martin Riggs would have been taught with limits there that Martin Riggs would have had to adhere to. Plus, Martin Riggs, he's an LA detective, right? So he has to adhere to LAPD protocol. Okay, there's no protocol that John Wick has to adhere to. Not
did he ever adhere to the protocol though?
Martin Riggs.
Yeah, like he was always on the edge.
Well, he didn't just shoot black people, so I don't think he adhered. I don't think he adhered to LAPD protocol. he shot some white people, so he wasn't thinking he wasn't thinking of protocol.
I mean, as much as you want to love Riggs, like John Wick's gonna whoop his ass in a fight every time.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, Martin Riggs is an action hero in a franchise that is kind of like a little bit more down to earth, not near as sophisticated and as advanced as the world of John Wick right there. So yeah, we both
There you
agree. Round one goes to John Wick over Martin Riggs.
Yes, but I do think Martin Riggs should have been later in this.
Should have been later.
Yeah, he should have been like a more of a top 5 contender, maybe, or 4 contender.
Yeah,
I don't know how many.
I'm not doing this in any kind of ranking or anything like this. Oh, and I should also mention.
Oh,
So, basically, we're talking about these guys in their prime. Okay, so John
okay,
Wick in his
so
prime.
this is just a random order. It's not like a
Random order,
actual
right?
ring.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Okay. So
kind of a sequence. Or
he's
anything
not
like
like
that, so.
he's not like he's not like the lowest seed, right?
No, not at all. Yep, nope.
Okay.
Exactly. Just
Okay.
whoever came to mind to put first. No
Okay.
sequencing based on quality or talent or anything like that. So,
Okay.
so
Even better.
and we're talking about these guys at their prime, and also talking about like not just hand-to-hand combat. I'm talking about like if there was some conflict that involved like maybe John Wick has to chase down Martin Riggs, or John Wick has to chase down Ethan Hunt, or Ethan Hunt has to chase down John Wick. It's a globe-trotting potentially conflict.
Sure.
Maybe they're in cars, they're in helicopters, they're on freaking four-wheelers. It's this big battle royale that could cover multiple countries, involve weapons, combat vehicles, all that stuff. So that's what this is all based off of.
But this is not in a ranking order. It's just random people.
Just random. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Just in the order of like what name is the first one to pop into my head. So in this case,
Sure.
hey, Martin Riggs is the first name that popped into my head. So
it's a great name. But yeah, unfortunately, Riggs is out immediately.
Oh yeah, exactly. So now we got
Bond.
James Bond over here. So John Wick going up against James Bond right there. And Lindy, what do you think, man?
Well, I see you have the Daniel Craig one, so he's already on the outs of
So James Bond as a whole right there. Yeah, I had to pick one, so I went with the most recent.
Yeah, so it's not the ousted James Bond that has has no Q, as most of his Daniel Craig's movies had, correct?
Yeah. And think of James Bond, like, don't think of it just as Daniel Craig. Like, this is like Sean Connery, Roger Moore,
just James Bond,
Pierce Brosnan, even George Lazenby, and then Daniel Craig as well. So
James Bond with full-on Q support.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So at their prime, like they've got the most advantage they've ever had. Yeah. They're in the best shape of their lives. So
it's a tough one, but I might give it to Wick on that. If we're going to give them every advantage that they're allowed. Because, like, the Continental, that's a lot of people, dude.
Yeah.
So, I don't... This is a really tough one, but I'm going to go Wick.
You know what? Well, we're 2 for 2 here on agreement right there. I think, Wick takes the prize on this one as well because, Bond, he has to adhere to the law. I mean, he's a government agent, and he's got to follow the rules of MI6. Wick has no such agency that he has to adhere to any kind of rules or anything like that. I mean, the only thing is he just can't kill anybody in the Continental. But as we saw in Chapter 2, he even broke that rule there. And so, and also,
he fixed it eventually.
What's that?
He fixed it eventually, though.
Yeah, he fixed it right exactly. He has to go through a whole heap of shit, to make up for what he did there in the second one there. And also, let's be honest. Wick in these movies, he seems to have like superhuman pain tolerance and healing abilities. And then also, I think like John Wick has he's been in more fights with different types of fighters than James Bond.
He's got a little more experience in person-to-person or personal combat.
Right. Yeah.
Because James Bond is like more of a I'm gonna poison you type guy to me.
Yeah. He's
I'm not gonna come up and strangle you to death in your hotel room, even though he's done that.
Yeah, right.
But John Wick is like, I'm gonna meet you face to face, and you're gonna die. Mm-hmm. If you see my face, you're gonna die.
Yep. Yeah.
James Bond. I mean, James Bond would give a good fight in this, and it could go either way, but I'm gonna go Wick for sure on this.
Yeah, yeah. I have to give Wick the edge just because of the factor that he doesn't have to adhere to any kind of like MI6 protocol or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's got no rules whatsoever. And that's one thing I like about John Wick's fighting style is I wouldn't call it cheating, but he gets primal. Okay, he does what he needs to do in the moment when, it's just a a battle royale, mano y mano or mano y womano sometimes. So yeah.
He's a survivor.
Yes,
John Wick
exactly.
is a survivor. He's gonna whoop the shit out of James Bond because James Bond is actually a little more for the people, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's almost he's almost just a little bit more than John Wick. Kind of worried too much about being too sophisticated and polished and that kind of thing. Where John Wick doesn't care about that. Sure, he gets suited and booted. He wears suits and dresses all stylish and shit and all that stuff. But but he's not. Yeah, he's not as worried about his being as prim and proper as James Bond is.
Yeah, no. John Wick all day.
John Wick, there you go. All right, so yeah, we park our car in the same garage on that one, my friend. And are you ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see
do
what
this.
you got.
And so now we got John Rambo.
Ooh, so
John Rambo, man. This is we might part ways on this one. We might.
Well, this one can be tricky. Like, who's going after who?
Yeah, this is like they've wronged each other or something somehow. Like maybe let's pretend like John Wick killed John Rambo's partner and John Rambo killed John Wick's partner.
Okay, but who's coming after who? Because John Rambo is the master of like the booby trap, right?
Yeah.
And he controls his environment very well. John Rambo's the best at that. But if you're gonna meet out in like for the worst case, let's say public, because that ain't gonna happen. I'd give it to Wick on that. But if one of them has to go to the other, Rambo's already there and he has a plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Wick, honestly, Wick did too, though.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen Wick like pull off booby traps like we saw Rambo did in the First Blood, the original, the OG. Because remember, he had those guys chasing him in the forest.
Yeah.
And John Rambo was creating all those just makeshift booby traps, from whatever materials he can get in the forest. I think we saw a little bit of that in First Blood, Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Yeah. But
I don't think we've ever seen John Wick do that. So
no, I'd honestly have to give this one to probably John Rambo.
Again, we're 3 for 3. I gave this one to Rambo as well.
Because I mean he's good at unless he's gonna come to John Wick, because Rambo's gonna wait back and do his thing.
Yep.
But if he would just like charge forward, go head to head, it would be John Wick all day.
Right.
But the fact that how John Rambo does his thing, no, it's John Rambo all day on this one.
Right. I would agree right there. One of the reasons I gave for John Rambo taking the trophy on this one is we haven't seen Wick pilot a helicopter or drive a tank. We've seen Rambo do that.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
We saw Rambo fly a helicopter in Rambo First Blood Part 2. He drove a tank in Rambo 3. We've never seen John Wick do that. And also Rambo, I mean, some might say, hey, John Wick is proficient with different weapons. Hell, he had a sommelier that helped him pick out weapons, in John Wick Chapter 2. But Rambo's proficient with different weapens as well. I mean, he was firing a technical in Rambo 3. He's using bazookas, AKs, hell, old-fashioned M16s. So
yeah, I'm Rambo on this one, but I'd be okay with either choice, honestly.
Yeah, Yep.
Because you could honestly make your argument on either one of these to be the better one.
Yep.
But I'm Rambo on this one.
All right. Well, there you go. So I am as well. And then also, I think my last reason for picking Rambo is, he doesn't play by any rules, just like Wick. So that's that's a draw there, where one does not. They both don't play by any rules whatsoever. There. So we got Rambo. So yeah, we're in agreement. We're in of the same accord there on the first three right there. So. Excellent. There we go. It's getting scary.
Let's see the next.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's moving on to Jason Bourne.
Ooh, shit. That's a tough one because they're both.
I mean, we're talking Jason Bourne at his prime.
I honestly don't know. Maybe Bourne because there's a little more lore with Bourne. Like we know a little more about what he's capable of than we do with John Wick.
Yep.
But other than that, yeah, I have to give it to Bourne because we know more about the Bourne legacy.
There you go. Yeah.
We know more about Bourne than we do Wick, so I'm going to give it to Bourne on this one. Although I'm pretty sure Wick could handle Bourne and no problem at all.
Well, I think this is the first instance where we part ways here, my friend. Here because I've got John Wick winning again. So my first reason is I think half of fighting is mental, and Bourne, as we all know, he's constantly fighting that internal mental battle about being an assassin, right? I mean, he's always like, man, I didn't want to be an assassin. I wish, but they put me in Treadstone and they made me this fighting machine, this killing machine, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to be an assassin. Not John Wick. John Wick, he knows what he is, right? And he's not conflicted about it at all. He's like, I am what I am. He's like Popeye. I am what I am, And
I am's what I am. So
yep. And I think so. I think because of that, because I think Wick has a mental advantage, I think John Wick would take down Bourne without any kind of moral reservation whatsoever, no hesitancy whatsoever, And then also another reason is John Wick. He's always fighting other assassins.
That's true.
He's always fighting other assassins. Bourne usually fights, not always, because as we see in the Bourne movies, sometimes he is fighting other assassins there, but he's also fighting a lot of nobodies as well. Where John Wick is just plain fighting assassin after assassin after assassin. He's fighting his contemporaries there, but I think the biggest reason that I would have to go with John Wick is just because the mental aspect where he is completely at ease and at peace with who he is. He's an assassin. He takes lives, where Jason Bourne, on top of I don't really want to be an assassin, is in at least in the first two movies, he's like, I don't even know who I am. I'm trying to get my memory back. I've got amnesia, where John Wick didn't have to deal with any of that. So those are my reasons. So
you may have flipped me on that one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You may have flipped me. Even though Bourne is one of the most badass people on the planet in this movie lore.
Yep.
But, yeah, like I said, John Wick, he doesn't have the moral... I don't want to say aptitude, the hang-ups that Bourne does.
He's got the yips, so to speak.
Because Wick has reasons, and he lives by those reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So you wronged him personally, which Bourne doesn't know why he's been wronged. Bourne's just there. He's just some dude that knows the skills.
Right.
And Wick knows why he's doing what he's doing. So yeah, I think you flip me, and I think I give this one to John Wick.
Well, it's very big of you right there. I'm glad that you have an open mind about that. And I'll tell you, if it came down to a car chase, I'm not sure Jason Bourne would lose that. That might, if there was a car chase as part of this conflict, because we've seen Jason Bourne really kick some ass when it comes to car chases. We've seen John Wick do that as well. He was beginning of John Wick 2, where he's chasing down the guy on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
The latest John Wick movie has a good car chase in Paris as well, that kind of thing. But it's a toss up. But I have to give you John Wick the edge on.
Yeah, that with your explanation of it, I think if you get down and dirty, Wick would probably win that battle at the end.
Yep. All right. Well, we got 2 more to go here, so let's go to our next one.
All right.
John Matrix, Commando.
Ooh.
I'm going old school, man. Going old school.
Give him the air. God damn it, Callahan.
I'll be back, Bennett.
Yeah.
Blow off some steam, Bennett.
Well, I'm going to give it to Wick because fuck Arnold. I hate him. I mean... it's Arnold. I mean, little did we know in 1985 when first seeing Commando, what a tool bag Arnold Schwarzenegger would turn into. If you would have gave me T2 Arnold, I would have had some real fucking this would have been tough, but I'm going Wick on this one all day.
Oh yeah.
But T2 Arnold, I'm picking him all day.
Oh yeah, you bet. Yeah, absolutely.
But Commando Arnold, hell no, it's John Wick.
John Wick,
because he's smooth. He knows what he's doing.
Yep. And so I have I'm with you on this one. I've got John Wick winning again because my first reason is, I mean, sure, being a big buff dude looks cool in an action movie, right? But I mean, as we both know, in real life though, it can often work against you. I mean, when you're some big shredded dude in a fight, muscle mass. It looks cool. I mean, the ladies love it. I mean, sun's out, guns out. Doing the curls for the girls, all that stuff. That's all well and good, but muscle mass, it adds weight, and it also reduces your stamina. There's the potential that it slows you down, slows your movements down. So that's why you see like some of the best fighters. Hell, Hoist Gracie in the Gracie family, they know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Are they all ripped and shredded and massive and whatnot? With no neck and hell no, the little dudes. If you saw them, you'd be like, oh, it's a pizza delivery guy right there. That's what that's what they are. But because they know, and maybe they're incapable of like getting all big and buff. And Wick, he's not a big buff dude.
No, he knows what he's doing though.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing right there. So Wick doesn't have that problem with having the extra weights and the stamina reduction. And then plus John Wick, again, he's just as proficient with weapons as Matrix. I mean, sure. Matrix still has that big weapons room, in his cabin up in the mountains, that we see towards the beginning of Commando. But hell, John Wick, he's got a hell of a cache of weapons somewhere. So,
and he's still. Well, I know you're doing Wick 1, but you go back to all the other Wicks. Yeah, he's back at the Continental at some point, so he's got all that too.
Yeah, he's part of the program. He's part of the world. He can, as long as he's got the gold coins, he can get all kinds of weapons that he wants. I mean, we saw that John Wick Chapter 2, where he goes in there and the weapons sommelier is in there, and turning them on to the AR-15 and the Borelli M9 and the freshly stoned knives, and I think I showed him a Glock 34. So and I like in that scene where they're like, I know you have an affinity for the German varietals, referring to how he likes that.
Right.
Yes. He has an H&K that he always uses in the first movie. And so it's like, I know you have an affinity for the German varietals, but let's check out what the Austrians have available here. He busts out the Glock.
No, it's a huge win now for Wick. For
John
sure.
Wick, yep.
He could take him out and no problem.
Yep. Yeah, John Matrix he's more of a cartoon character, really.
Yep.
there. So, but but in real life, then this cartoon character is going to get his ass beat by a all too realistically brutal John Wick there. So, all right, so we got John Wick winning in every one except for Rambo there. So, and so last but not least, what do we got next here?
Ethan Hunt? Is that
Ethan
that
Hunt?
Oh,
Ethan Hunt.
well,
For me, this is a hard one. So I don't know. But what
I'm gonna
about
give
you?
I'm going to give it to Ethan Hunt because he's got the entire backing of the CIA and all those other whatever the fuck you want to call it,
the
agencies.
IMF.
Yep, it's going to Ethan just because of that. If it was a straight up fight, John Wick all day, but Ethan has the technology and all that stuff, so it goes to him.
Yep. It's funny that you mentioned technology because that's the biggest reason I picked Ethan Hunt as well. Because Ethan Hunt wins just off those damn MI masks alone.
Yeah.
All right. Because he could put on a mask and he could put on the mask of like one of Wick's best buddies. Maybe he puts on a Winston mask, right? Or Sharon mask or something like that. Like, hey, how you doing, buddy, old pal? Just pops him. 2 in the head, 2 in the chest and 1 in the head. And all Ethan Hunt had to do was put on a Winston mask,
Yep. But if you're gonna go straight up, it's Wick. But since Ethan Hunt has all that technology, it's gonna be him. He has all the backing, he has all that shit, so it's Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All day, every day.
Yeah, and plus this goes back to one of the reasons I picked Rambo over John Wick. Ethan Hunt, we've seen him. He's piloted a helicopter. We saw him in Mission Impossible Fallout. He was piloting a helicopter there. We've never seen John Wick up in the air. Never. So
Yet. I mean, look for John Wick 5.
Yeah.
It's just going to be John Wick 5 helicopter pilot.
Yeah, John Wick's got a lot of making up to do. John Wick's going to have to be like an F-35.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's all it is. Like, Ethan Hunt, the only reason he wins is because of his backing that he has.
Yep.
If it was just straight up John Wick all day, same with Rambo, going back in there.
Yep.
Going back with everybody. If you disregard their backing that they have, it's John Wick all day on everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say if Ethan Hunt didn't have those masks available to him, I'd still say John Wick because, I mean, who knows if a helicopter is even going to come into play, right?
Well, I mean, honestly, if you're going to have an Ethan Hunt versus John Wick, there better be fucking 300 helicopters.
Like I said, this is like this. You have to imagine this is like a potential worldwide, worldwide grappling match, right? A worldwide vendetta or worldwide brawl, right? Where whoever knows how to fly a helicopter might jump in a helicopter and John Wick's like, he's in his Mustang going down the highway and here comes Ethan Hunt. He's in fucking Blue Thunder. He's taking him out. It might come down to that, but so I think with that alone, take the mask off the table, Ethan Hunt still wins, but then you add that massive advantage of having the masks and having that weapon of deception there that John Wick doesn't have. I gotta give it to Ethan Hunt.
Yep, Ethan Hunt wins this one all day, every day.
Ethan Hunt, the pride of the IMF. Ethan Hunt.
Ethan Hunt.
Cake.
But you delete all that other shit, then it is absolutely John Wick.
Oh yeah.
But Ethan Hunt is in there, and he's got all that shit, so Ethan Hunt wins this entire fucking thing, in my opinion.
Wow,
he's the champion.
So you got him even beating Rambo?
Oh, all day, every day. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Ethan could beat the shit out of Rambo.
I would too, because, again, those masks, Ethan Hunt just has to dress up as Colonel Troutman.
Yep. No, Ethan Hunt wins it all with... If you give them, if you give each one their technologies that they're given, and what they've shown on screen, basically, Ethan Hunt wins all day, every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Right
for the
there.
most part, yeah, no, it's John Wick for almost 99% of it until it comes to Ethan Hunt. And then
Okay.
it's
Okay. Yep. Nope. I would agree right there. So yeah. I mean, Ethan Hunt takes the cake. He's at the top of
yep.
Kick-Ass Mountain here. So
Yep. Even though I like John Wick way more than I like Ethan Hunt, you gotta give him the belt. Ethan Hunt gets the belt.
oh yeah, right there.
He just has everything.
Yeah, he
John
does.
Wick
He's got
is
all these
on his own.
all these advantages here. You know,
Yeah.
you have to imagine, like, Ethan Hunt's not going to be forced to fight on his own, right? He's going to have a team,
Right.
to help him out. And we've seen John Wick; he's kind of teamed up with like Halle Berry in in one instance, with Sharon when the Continental was being attacked and that kind of thing. But not the sheer number of partners that Ethan Hunt has available to him as part of being a member of the IMF.
Yeah. So, I mean, it goes to. I'm gonna give the belt over to John Wick. Fuck it. He beats everybody except Ethan Hunt because Ethan Hunt has that ridiculous amount of support and the ridiculous shit. If it was just one-on-one, it's John Wick all day.
Oh yeah, you bet, absolutely.
You don't get your own resources, all that. Yes, it's John Wick. John Wick wins every fight every day. You get the resources, Ethan Hunt wins.
Oh yeah,
same way.
You bet, right there. So, all right, so yeah, there we go. Well, I'm just going to take care of a little business over here real quick. All right, so I have to learn how to work a actual keyboard over here, and I was looking to see if our boy Sean, if his stream Thriller Thursday was still going on, because I was toying around with the idea of rating him here. If you got time,
I was going to say I can do it if you don't know how.
It looks like it's just be me and him. They're getting in there right there. So let me try that here right there, and let's see if we can raid that young man right there. All right.
No, that's not how you do it.
Am I missing a space?
Yeah, you got a space after the raid.
I do have to put a space after the raid?
Yup.
Okay. For some reason I thought
there you go.
Yeah, but get out of that. Oh, did you get it? All right, here. So let's check it out. Let's see over on that other side. Here.
I think I'm a mod on your channel now. Yeah, I think so.
I thought it would work that way. Never know when this shit's going to work or not. So, yeah.
That's a fun thing with Rumble Studio.
It was right there. In the meantime, hey, my brother on here. Oops. Called you during your show. Mom and Angie say hi. Hey, Mom. Hey, Angie. How you doing there? Hey, brother. Thanks for tuning in right there. Yeah, I saw you called there. Unfortunately, I'm in the middle of the show right there, but I will call you back here afterwards. That, and my eyes are getting all dry too. That's usually my sign, like, got to wrap it up here. But I don't see it raiding over on his side, I don't think. Let me.
Okay, I got you. I got it.
Shouldn't be that hard. Yeah, it's just what? Slash
it shouldn't be
raid
that hard.
space and then the URL. That's it, right?
It should be, but sometimes it's not. Like, Rumble's kind of retarded.
Yeah, I'd say. It's like it's giving Corky a run for his money over here.
I know. Oh no, I want to get me into the current show, you stupid fucker. Here we go. No, that's not even the current show. It said Novocaine was your current show. Like, what the hell?
Let's see here.
Wow, Rumble is being a complete dick tonight.
I wonder, or maybe Sean has the raid prevention. Maybe it has the settings configured where you can't raid them.
No, we can. I got it.
Have you raided his shows before?
I have. I got this.
Try to get here.
I'll get him. Yeah, no, Rumble is got a lot of growing pains.
I'd say they got to get that squared away real quick because they've got a short window of time to get people to get over to their platform. Because I mean, YouTube is a tough platform to leave for a lot of people. I mean, and
Yeah.
especially since YouTube has like a lot more. It's got a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like variety in videos and that kind of thing. Because it's not. I'm not going to put all the blame on Rumble, but mostly Rumble's stuff is political stuff. And mostly conservative, political stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. But I think Rumble needs to do a better job at promoting people. Hey, you want to bring your videos where you show like, how to fix your deck or how the best way to put in kitchen counters. You want to put those videos here on Rumble, you can do that. You don't just have to put that on YouTube.
Well, I've actually that I'm gonna have to self promote on this one. I have Pudge coming on Saturday.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, by all means. Hey, plug away, man. Do what you gotta do.
And me and him are gonna talk about our mostly me. I'm gonna talk to him about my plight with the creator program because I'm part of that, and they are just starting to release more shit that we need to do to be part of it. But they're being secretive about what we need to do. They're not telling us outright. Like it started with, hey, do your 30 hours a month plus 5 hours premium. Like, all right, yeah, I can do that. That's no problem. I can do that.
Yeah.
Well, now they're talking about adding other shit on top of it.
Huh. Interesting.
But they are
other
adding
qualifications you got to do.
I don't know the other qualifications. They haven't been announced yet, but they are adding a salary to it. So, as of I think next month, if you're part of the Rumble Creator Program, you're going to make $500 a month, no matter what, from Rumble. You're going to get paid that money.
Yeah.
But we don't know the specifics yet. They kind of keep that shit, close to the chest. They keep their cards really close, like Maverick.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, you got that. I'm picking up what you're putting down there, man.
I know some movies, brother.
Yeah, Pavlovsky. Yeah, they've got to get that squared away right there because there's only a certain amount. The door of opportunity only stays open for so long, right?
Yeah.
And I think they need another. I mean, because obviously they got a big multi-million-dollar investment, a couple of years ago, there between Bongino and Pavlovsky and some of the other major players with Rumble to really step up the Rumble game and the marketing, the promotion, all that stuff. I think it's time for another fresh multi-million, infusion of cash to get the best minds on this stuff and take honestly, fix the stuff. Don't just because people's patience wears thin. There's people's patience levels. They have a limit, and you can only tell people, we're handling it. We're eventually going to fix it. You can only tell them that for so long, and so you got to deliver. You got to deliver on success.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm part of the creator program. I have not seen much, if any, benefit to doing it, except that I'm forced to go premium content only. So only somebody that has Rumble Premium, which is the $10 a month or $99 a year thing. Like, not even some of my subs can see my premium content.
Wow.
Yeah, so I only do like my weird gaming stuff as premium. I will not do my actual, like, if I have a guest, like tomorrow. Oh, geez, is that already tomorrow? Yeah, it is tomorrow. On Saturday, on my Saturday show, my normal Drunk and Disorderly, I have Pudge TV coming on.
Yeah, that's on Saturday night.
Yep, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Central. I'm going to talk to him about it.
God's time.
Yep, God's time. I'm going to talk to Pudge about that because he's a champion for Rumble Studio and all the Rumble stuff. So I'm going to talk to him about that.
Yeah.
And then the next week, I have Toolman Tim from Louder with Crowder.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Then I have Megamoo from Dear America.
Sure.
And then I have Fragniac.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he was just on what? Whiskey Capitalist podcast, right?
Yeah, so I'm throwing my month out like crazy. So let's see if the creator program is worth it. I mean, because they said like, well, we might not pay everybody out. It's like, oh, okay. So you're going to give it to those guys, and the creator program was supposed to be for us smaller guys, but
Yeah. Yeah.
keep pushing the your doc disrespect. Yeah, push that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, push that one instead of us smaller creators that you promised us you're going to push.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I thought, what the rising tide lifts all boats right there. We're not seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still this little dinghy over here.
I mean,
and I ain't feeling no rising.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten a lot of followers since then, but I'm not seeing them in the chats. I'm not seeing them in the whatnot. I'm seeing, in my opinion, fake followers.
Yeah, you're not seeing the whole
'Cause they're not-
engagement.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like the engagement I see is from my usual people. I mean, every time I pop on and onto a different podcast, I get like 2 to 3 followers. And they do engage in the chat, but if they're not going to engage in the chat, like why are they even here?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think they might be pushing that kind of stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the next month or two. I don't know. I think it's kind of fake and gay.
It's fake, lame, and gay.
Yeah, I mean it's they haven't proven me wrong yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, on a happy note here, my brother puts on here, also, all 6 of the Ebert cats say hi. The felines seem to really enjoy the show right there. So, nice. Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of cats up at the what we call the Ebert compound there, Lindy. We call the Ebert homestead up in Iowa, the Ebert compound. And my mom has some fierce, life-taking felines there to protect the premises there. So,
oh yeah, no, I hear you. We have a Lindy compound going on too that I'm not part of, but a lot of my family is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know the compound thing. We got a pretty good size of them.
There you go. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we tried the raid. I guess we'll have to try that again some other time. That was actually my first attempt at a raid, and I don't have anything to say about it.
I can do it. I can do it right now if you want to.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, I want however we accomplish it. Yeah, and then I'll have to at least talk afterwards, like how. Oh, there you go.
Just did it
going on.
Yeah, I know it's I'm pretty good at Rumble now.
Would you have to like put in some sequel statement? Yep, there's where you ran the stream.
No, you had to do some.
Stuff. So anybody in the live chat? So let's get some folks in the live chat here, and then you'll be able to get over to the Thriller Thursday here with our buddy Sean Cav and his Sean Cav live show, and we'll check that out over there. So
did you hear any quit? Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, now we got it. I'm doing raid over there. Yep. All the people that should be over here watching this, I think like audiences would be nice if they could like be in 2 shows at once, because that's what I try to do. Because sometimes like Darth Jason is on at the same time as Till Death podcast, and I don't do that thing where like I'm just gonna be in the Till Death podcast or the Whiskey Capitalist podcast only, and I'm not gonna be in Darth Jason's, or like I'm in both at the same time.
Yeah, so. I try to be in as many chats as I can, but sometimes it just doesn't.
It's not that hard to do. Work. So yeah, it's very easy. It's called multiple tabs.
Yep, basically, yeah.
Yeah. We're rating their chat right there. Also, anybody watching right now, if you want to match, as my eyes get drier and drier, if you want to match the donation that Lindy and I did in the live chat there, or give maybe $1 or $2 in the live chat via a super chat on YouTube or a Rumble rant on Rumble. All proceeds, all money we get tonight are going towards 22 Kill, a very honorable organization that helps veterans in trying to prevent even one more life being lost to veteran self-deletion. I'll put it that way.
Yep, one more would be worth it. I would pay all the money in the world to get rid of just one.
Just one, exactly. But we're having to deal with 22 on average a day veterans taking their own lives right there. So that's why in the live chat on Rumble, I was only too happy. Lindy got it. He set it off. He donated 50. I'm donating 50 as well. And so that's our not so subtle pressure to anybody who's watching on Rumble to, hey, if you want to give $1 or $2, you don't have to match our 50 if you can. Great.
No,
but
$1 or $2. Come on,
yeah,
guys.
exactly. And then if you're checking out on YouTube, you can do it via super chat. And the way you do that is down by where you type in your live chat message on super chat or on YouTube. There's a button with a dollar bill sign there. And then you just click on that. It'll just ask you how much you want to donate, $1 or $2 or 50. And that money will all go towards the 22 Kill organization to help with preventing veterans from taking their own lives right there, because they need all the help they can get right there. I'm getting back over to Sean's show here, see what they got to say here. I'm gonna put Sean over here.
So donate, bring it on. Like, guys, it's a worthy cause. It really is. Like, if you somehow don't know a veteran that has at least tried to unalive themselves, then please, if you don't know that much, then you're not paying enough attention.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people out there, and some of your best friends, they may be veterans, and you might see them as the most badass person you ever met. But I promise you,
exactly.
You come to this, and it's your fucking Navy SEALs that are part of this fucking statistic, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody. It does not. It's not. It doesn't. There's no conformity to it. So just we're trying to bring focus to this, that this is a problem and that we need to change it. They've had a hard fucking time.
Yep.
So, yes, don't donate to any of them. Even if it's not the one that Van's doing, just find a veteran suicide thing that you can donate to. Just do that.
Exactly.
Even if it's your time or your money, it's worth every single fucking cent. Even if it saves one fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going back to that shit. But one life is all it is. It's one life. You can make the world for 20 different people if you save one fucking life.
Right. Yeah. And the decision that they make, to either end it all forever or not, it might, in their head, they might be like, if someone reaches out to me right now, then I will not do it. I will live another day. I will live to see my kids another day, or my wife another kid, or my wife another day, or something like that. So like just someone reaching out and saying something there, and it just and that costs you nothing, costs you no money whatsoever.
Reach out to your friends that are vets. Reach out. Say, hey, what's up, man?
Mm-hmm.
Just reach out. Just shoot them a text. Give them a call. Even if they don't answer, I mean, just be there in their fucking life. Because every little bit helps. If they see that people care about them, it's gonna make a difference. Like, it just will. Just trust me. Reach out. Send a text. Do a call. Call them.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Reach out on fucking Facebook. I don't give a shit. Just reach out to your veteran friends.
I'm going all Sally Struthers here, Lindy. I'm like, for just the price of a cup of coffee a day.
Yeah.
In the live chat here, with the Rumble rant, with a super chat on YouTube, you can help a veteran in need. There you go. I'm going to. All we're missing is the Sarah McLachlan music playing in the background there. We need that. I should get that for next time.
Yeah. No,
I sound just like her.
You did. But if you guys have a friend that is a veteran, please reach out to them. Please tonight, reach out to them.
Yep.
Even if it's just sub. That's all it takes.
Yep.
They just need to know that you're there. Because it is a fucking horrible thing that these guys had to do and see and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So just reach out to them. Reach out to your veteran friends. Say hi. Say sup.
Yep.
As fucking stupid as it is, it could save a life.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And you never know, they'll be there for you in the future. You know, we all run into tough times, and you know, they remember that. I have the mentality like if I'm down and you reach out to me while I'm down, I'll be your friend for life. Now, there's a flip side of that coin. If I'm down and you kick me while I'm down in a down place in my life, I will never be friends with you ever again in my life and whatnot. But the first part is more positive. You know, if I'm down and I need some help and you're a friend to me, and you didn't have to be a friend to me. There was nothing compelling you. You didn't have to be, but you were just a good enough person to think about somebody else besides yourself. You know what? You've got a buddy for life. So
Yep. Well, reach out. You guys reach out to a veteran friend of yours. Everybody has a veteran friend.
Yep.
Every single person in all of the chats, everything. You have at least one veteran friend. Mm-hmm. Whether you know it or not, but reach out. Say, hey man, how's it going? Or hey girl, whatever.
Right.
Whichever gender they are, because I mean honestly it's but just reach out.
Lindy, I wish you would use the right pronouns, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Your right pronouns.
Reach out to your respective veteran that you know and say hi. Just say hi.
Sometimes say hi to they, them, and Zer.
Yeah. But that's sometimes with the Zer, that's a 42%.
Yeah, let's not leave out our two-spirit brothers and sisters in the military.
Yeah. No, that's still a 42% rate, and that's going to destroy this rate.
Yeah.
But if you have a friend that has been in the military, and they just reach out.
You bet.
Say hi.
You bet. Exactly.
Just say hi.
You could make all the difference in the world.
Yep. Send them a text that says, "Hey man, how's it going?" Or "Hey girl, how's it going?" Either one.
There you go.
Just do that. That's it. And you know what? It's free. It's free to do that. Do that, and I'll bet you at least one person that does it will prevent a suicide.
Yep.
I can almost guarantee it. If you guys did that, you just reach out to one of your friends.
Yep. I can guarantee you won't prevent a suicide if you do nothing. I can guarantee you won't prevent one. So yeah.
Yep. And and with the stats that they are, if you just reach out, you could prevent one by just saying hello to your friend.
You bet. So on that charitable, patriotic note, then we're gonna wrap it up here. But where can we find you next, there, Lindy? I think you said Saturday. Or wait, you're on a show tomorrow? Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm going on a gamer stream. We're doing it's me, Sean, Cav, Beyond Formal, Channel 2,
Soundboard Lord.
I don't know if he's going to be part of it.
Say Pudge,
but no, not Pudge. Pudge is coming on my show on Saturday.
Right.
So I have him for Drunken Disorderly on Saturday.
At 6 p.m. Central on Saturday night.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Sorry, 8 p.m. I've got my show's time on my brain.
Yeah.
8 p.m. Central. Yes.
Yep. I have Pudge on Saturday for that. And tomorrow we're going to do a gaming stream. It's usually a big one. It's me, Sean, Tim, Toolman Tim, God, there's some others. Channel 2 Action News. A bunch of guys that you guys know in the chats. They're going to be there.
Right.
We're going to be playing.
Usual cast of characters, the cast of ruffians. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be playing that. And then, yeah. So Saturday, I have my actual show with Pudge. And then the week after, I have Toolman Tim coming on. The week after, I have
Megamoo?
Megamoo. Yep. That is that week after.
God.
And then after that, I have Fragniac. So welcome to my Movies Merica show, guys. So everybody, go donate to your best veteran thing that you can find. The best one.
I hate Rumble Studio. Have I mentioned how much I hate Rumble Studio? We're definitely getting what we're paying for here. At least for me and Ian. We got the free version. We got the Aldi's grocery store version of Rumble Studio, obviously. God, that's twice it's kicked me off tonight. There.
Yeah, that'll happen at 4 hours, buddy.
I thought Rumble appreciated people being on for a long time. Is that they're not so subtle way of saying, get off your show?
Well, they do, but it's at about an hour or two. They're like, hey, what is going on? So you refresh.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Real quick, let me mention here the movie for next week that I will be spoiler-free reviewing on Sunday afternoon is A Working Man. It's a Jason Statham movie. It's from the same two guys, Jason Statham and David Ayer, that gave us The Beekeeper a couple of years ago. I think it was either last year or the year before. So 1 or 2 years ago, The Beekeeper came out. And so they're coming out with their next action thriller team-up. It's called A Working Man. It's new this weekend. And so Sunday on Movies Merica Live at 3 Central, 4 Eastern, 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific. That comes on Sunday. And then, of course, a week from tonight on the next Movies Merica spoiler warning, it'll be all about A Working Man there. And so the best way to get links to the show is if you just go to my X page under @MoviesMerica. There you can find the links to that. For Lindy, so you just look you up under Lindy on Rumble. Is that the best way to get links to all your stuff?
Yeah, it really is. Like, literally type Lindy in the Rumble search bar. You're going to find me. And my X is in the profile, so you can find that. So if you want to DM me, go ahead. They're open. So if you guys want to come on my show, Drunk and Disorderly, that's fine.
You bet.
We will see, because I've got a hell of a schedule coming up, and yeah, we'll see how everything goes after this new shit that's going on. And
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
It's hard work being a national treasure, man.
Yeah. No,
it's hard work being America's sweetheart, man.
Yeah. We'll talk about some of the specifics later in DMs.
You bet.
Because shit might be changing here very soon. We'll see.
Never know. You never know. So yeah, well, the only constant is change, right?
Yep. Pretty much.
You bet. So, all right. Hey, well, thanks again, Lindy, for helping me out with John Wick here tonight. There, you did a yeoman's work. Okay, you did the show proud. It's no fun talking about John Wick by myself, and so yes, I wanted to bring in another John Wick fangirl like myself onto the show right there. So another John Wick groupie. There we go. Must be getting late. I can't talk right. Yibbly. That's all, folks. So yeah, there you go. It's time. Yeah, I'm starting to stroke out over here. But with that offensive comment there, I have to say, as always, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.